Chapter 1224. Not only does the ethereal immortal mansion test one's talent, but it also tests one's strength. Mo Qingyun, don't even think about passing the second level. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk into the ethereal immortal abode, the ever-changing Golden Peak's expression turned gloomy and worried. Although he knew that Mo Qingyun's cultivation was only at the third level of the heaven tier, he could not help but feel worried. He was afraid that Mo Qingyun's results would surpass his own. This kid killed a heavenly immortal stage fire Kirin toad with his third level of the sky human stage cultivation. Luck must have played a big part in it. Seeing that it was Mo Qingyun's turn to enter the test, Yuan Xie's expression was cold as he said some sour words. If my guess is correct, this kid's final result should be the first level. There might be hope for him to enter the second level, but it will be difficult for him to pass the 3 stages on the second level. The silver-masked Yun Xing, who was beside Yuan Xie, voiced his thoughts. Yuan Xie nodded indifferently when he heard the silver-masked Yun Xing's words. He agreed with the silver-masked Yun Xing's analysis. Compared to the others, the 100 transformation devil child was undoubtedly the most nervous and worried. He realized that ever since he came into contact with Mo Qingyun, the gap between him and Mo Qingyun had been widening. He was worried that the gap between him and Mo Qingyun would widen again after the assessment of the ethereal immortal mansion. Just like that, Mo Qingyun walked into the ethereal immortal mansion under everyone's watchful eyes. Little guy, welcome to the ethereal immortal mansion. A child who looked about 5 or 6 years old appeared before Mo Qingyun when he walked into the ethereal immortal mansion. Mo Qingyun was stunned when he heard the child's words. He was surprised by the way the child addressed him. Thought body. However, Mo Qingyun was relieved when he saw through the child's origin. From the looks of it, the child in front of him should be the childhood consciousness of some powerhouse. Little guy, if you want to enter the next stage, then use your full strength to defeat me. While Mo Qingyun was thinking, the 5 or 6-year-old child in front of him clenched his fists and assumed a fighting stance. Then, an aura comparable to the first level of the celestial realm emanated from the child. All right, seeing the child's actions, Mo Qingyun didn't say much to him and nodded to accept the child's suggestion. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. Since it concerned the quality of the cultivation mansion, Mo Qingyun naturally would not be careless. He directly waved the immortal burning war halberd and swept it towards the child. Then a fire dragon halberd shadow that was hundreds of meters long burst out from the immortal burning halberd. This is an immortal artifact. Seeing the immortal burning halberd in Mo Qingyun's hand, the child's eyes flashed with a glimmer as he exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, the thought body of the child exuded an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Feeling the terrifying aura that flashed across the child's body, Mo Qingyun's heart couldn't help but tighten. He had a feeling that he was being scanned by a terrifying existence. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun frowned, and a sense of vigilance rose in his heart. He thought to himself, this thought body is a little strange. There are some essential differences between it and those killing thought bodies in the path of slaughter. Could it be? At this moment, a bold idea arose in Mo Qingyun's heart. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, there was only one possibility from the abnormal behavior of this thought body. That was, the original body of this thought body was still alive. The abnormality of this thought body just now should be the original body of this thought body, observing Mo Qingyun through this thought body. I can't tell. Little guy, you're so young, but you're very alert. Seeing that his small actions were discovered by Mo Qingyun, this thought body didn't hide anymore and praised Mo Qingyun with a faint smile. Sure enough, hearing this, Mo Qingyun was slightly surprised. The guess in his heart was confirmed. Then, Mo Qingyun's next move became a lot more restrained to avoid being seen through by the other party. But even so, with Mo Qingyun's current strength, it was still very easy to defeat this thought body. Bang! After a few moves, Mo Qingyun swept the halberd and the thought body was overbearingly defeated by Mo Qingyun. After Mo Qingyun defeated the thought body, he went to the next level. The thought body on this level was still the child from before, but it seemed to be a little older. "Little guy, we meet again." In the second level, when the thought body saw Mo Qingyun, it showed a warm smile and greeted Mo Qingyun. "Let's fight." In response to this thought body's words, Mo Qingyun didn't want to talk nonsense with it. He directly held the immortal burning halberd and attacked it. Seeing Mo Qingyun attacking it, this thought body didn't dare to hesitate and immediately blocked Mo Qingyun's halberd. When this consciousness body made its move, Mo Qingyun could clearly sense that its cultivation level was slightly higher than the first one's. However, it was still at the first level of the celestial realm and had not entered the second level of the celestial realm. Under Mo Qingyun's full attack, this thought body was quickly defeated by the immortal burning halberd and followed in the footsteps of the first thought body. Following that, Mo Qingyun unceasingly fought with the intent bodies one after another, passing through one trial after another. As Mo Qingyun continued to fight with the thought bodies, he became more and more familiar with the understanding and stimulation of battle intent. To put inappropriately, this thought body in the ethereal immortal abode was simply the best sparring partner for Mo Qingyun. Just like that, Mo Qingyun directly passed through the first level's 10 levels in a domineering manner. However, after reaching the second level, Mo Qingyun's speed slowed down a lot and finally stopped at the second level's 10th level. Following Mo Qingyun's failure, his results also came out. He rose from the 46th place to the 30th place. Now, the difference between Mo Qingyun and the 100-change Golden Peak was only one place. If it wasn't for the fact that the 100-change Golden Peak's cultivation was far above Mo Qingyun's, Mo Qingyun would have long left him in the dust. 30th place, how is this possible? After learning about Mo Qingyun's assessment ranking, the 100-change Golden Peak opened his eyes wide, not daring to believe that it was true. At this moment, he suddenly felt his face burning as if someone had given him a hard slap. Just now, he was still saying that the gap between him and Mo Qingyun would get bigger and bigger. But in the blink of an eye, not only did the gap between him and Mo Qingyun not get bigger, it became 4 places weaker instead. This situation was seriously beyond his expectations. Now, the only thing that made the 100-change Golden Peak rejoice was that Mo Qingyun's ranking had not surpassed him yet. Otherwise, he would have really embarrassed himself this time. At present, when the 100-change Golden Peak was rejoicing in his heart, Mo Qingyun walked over with a faint smile and said with a smile, "Hey, our ranking gap seems to have gotten smaller." Chapter 1225. Chapter content begins. The gap between us seems to have narrowed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's voice, Golden Face Mountain's expression trembled as he felt an inexplicable pressure. Originally, he thought that he would be able to widen the gap between him and Mo Qingyun by increasing his ranking by 12 places. He never thought that Mo Qingyun's ranking would rise even more than his, surpassing 16 places. Golden Face Mountain stared at Mo Qingyun, his expression trembling a few times before he turned his head away with a cold snort. Seeing Golden Face Mountain's reaction, Mo Qingyun showed a look of disdain and said with a faint smile, "What's wrong? Are you afraid?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Golden Face Mountain's body trembled unconsciously, as though his words had hit a sore spot. Mo Qingyun's words were true. He was indeed a little panicked now, afraid that Mo Qingyun's strength would surpass his. Seeing Golden Face Mountain's reaction, Mo Qingyun did not say anything more and walked toward the 2 girls with a faint smile. When everyone saw Mo Qingyun's results, they couldn't help but look at him in awe. If Mo Qingyun's ranking in the monster-killing leaderboard was exaggerated, the Misty Immortal Abode's assessment results were not fake at all. Thus, it could be seen that Mo Qingyun's strength was not to be underestimated. They had underestimated Mo Qingyun before. 30th place. Seeing Mo Qingyun's assessment results, Yuan Xie and Yunxing were shocked. their eyes filled with surprise. This time, although Yunxing's assessment result had improved a lot, he was currently at 26th place. Judging from the current ranking, it would not be easy for Yunxing to deal with Mo Qingyun. After a brief moment of surprise, Yunxing's face turned gloomy as he said in a cold voice, "Big brother Yuan Xie, Mo Qingyun's strength has increased too quickly. If we let him continue to grow, I'm afraid he'll be a big problem. In my opinion, it's better to get rid of him as soon as possible. This kid has indeed grown very quickly. I underestimated him." After witnessing Mo Qingyun's rapid growth, Yuan Xie began to take Mo Qingyun seriously. He nodded in agreement with Yunxing's suggestion and said, "In a month, us new disciples will go out to train. At that time, I will arrange for you to be with Mo Qingyun. At that time, you can find a chance to kill Mo Qingyun." "Yes." Yunxing nodded. A murderous look flashed in his eyes as he stared at Mo Qingyun. It was as if he was a viper staring at its prey. At this moment, apart from Yunxing, there was also the devil son of myriad transformations, who was not far away, staring at Mo Qingyun with dark eyes. "It's already the 30th. Seeing that Mo Qingyun's ranking had risen, the devil child of 100 transformations clenched his fists tightly, emitting cracking sounds. Who would have thought that after spending 2 months in the Holy Spring, Mo Qingyun's strength had increased so much, and the gap between them had widened once again? At this moment, in addition to resentment, the devil son of 100 transformations was more remorseful. He knew that he had completely missed the chance to deal with Mo Qingyun. Now, he was no longer a match for Mo Qingyun. Under the gaze of the devil son of 100 transformations, Mo Qingyun came in front of the ghost moon holy maiden and the devil son of 100 transformations. Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of them, the ghost moon holy maiden and the devil son of 100 transformations were shocked. They found it hard to believe that Mo Qingyun had achieved such a result. Although Mo Qingyun's ranking was only in the top 30, Mo Qingyun's cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the sky human realm. There was a huge gap between him and the others. If Mo Qingyun had the cultivation of the heaven immortal realm, it would not be too difficult for him to get the 1st place. While Mo Qingyun was chatting with the 2 women, the others' assessment had begun. They all walked into the ethereal immortal abode. After a few hours, the devil son of 100 transformations assessment results came out. His ranking had dropped to the 71st place. Looking at his assessment ranking, the devil son of 100 transformations' face became even gloomier. The regret in his heart became even stronger. He hated it. He hated himself for being careless. In a moment of carelessness, he actually allowed an unknown kid to ride on his head and abuse his power. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. It was too late for him to regret now. The only thing he could do now was to think of all ways to get rid of Mo Qingyun, because he knew that if he did not get rid of Mo Qingyun would become his inner demon. Therefore, Mo Qingyun must die. 1 month later, I will accept the mission to go out and gain experience. At that time, I will definitely kill Mo Qingyun. Thinking of a mission in 1 month, the devil son of 100 transformations' face turned black. He clenched his fists tightly and swore to kill Mo Qingyun as soon as possible. Mo Qingyun did not know what the devil son of 100 transformations and the others were thinking. What he was thinking now was how to increase his strength faster so that he could gain a foothold in the eternal South Immortal Palace. At that time, it would be much more convenient for him to inquire about Long Han Yin and Murong Qinyu. 4 days later, under the waiting of Mo Qingyun and the others, it was finally the Ghost Moon Saintess and Chu Yunyun's turn to take the assessment. The 2 women's assessment results were similar to what Mo Qingyun had expected. Their rankings had increased a lot. Unfortunately, because their original rankings were too low, even though their rankings had increased a lot, they still did not enter the top 100. In the end, the Ghost Moon Saintess was ranked 146th and Chu Yunyun was ranked 149th. Seeing their assessment results, the Ghost Moon Saintess and Chu Yunyun revealed a lonely expression. They looked a little disappointed. Ghost Moon, Yun, you don't have to care too much about the assessment results. Looking at the two disappointed women, Mo Qing Yun smiled faintly at them and said, the top 100 disciples can also invite others to stay in their cultivation residences. At that time, the two of you can stay in my cultivation residence. Really? Hearing Mo Qing Yun's words, the two women's beautiful eyes lit up and their expressions revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Mo Qing Yun was ranked 30th. The conditions of his cultivation residence must be very good. For them, if they could enter Mo Qing Yun's cultivation residence, it would be the best. Of course, Mo Qing Yun smiled faintly and gave the two women a definite answer. Seeing Mo Qing Yun's promise, the two women immediately beamed with joy and the disappointment in their hearts was swept away. Next, Mo Qing Yun and the other two chatted while waiting for the others to take the assessment. Just like this, after another 3 days, everyone's assessment was finally over. Since the assessment is over, the top 100 core disciples, elite disciples, and ordinary disciples follow me. Seeing that all the disciples had finished their assessment, Niusheng instructed everyone and walked towards the floating residence. When they saw Niusheng's actions, Mo Qing Yun and the others hurriedly followed him and walked towards the floating residences. Seeing that Mo Qing Yun and the others had walked far away, Xiang Xie said to the remaining people in a low voice, the rest of you, follow me. Chapter 1226. Not long after, under Niusheng's lead, Mo Qing Yun and the others arrived in front of the mansion. Arriving at the front of the mansion, Niusheng pointed at the mansion and said, the closest 100 mansions are for the top 100 ordinary disciples. The middle 100 mansions are for the top 100 elite disciples. As for the last 100 mansions, they are for the top 100 core disciples. Niusheng introduced the 300th house to them. His expression suddenly turned serious as he said, before you move in, I have something to tell you in advance. The test of the misty immortal abode is held once a month. In other words, the location of your residences will change every month. The location of the mansion changes every month? Hearing Niusheng's words, everyone revealed a surprised expression and started whispering to each other. Seeing that everyone had started to whisper to each other, Niusheng waved his hand at everyone, indicating for them to quiet down first. He continued, of course, this kind of exchange doesn't mean that you have to move out of the mansion. Instead, you have to exchange the location of your mansion just like this. After Niusheng finished speaking, he formed a hand seal and hit the floating mansion in front of him. Following that, everyone saw that the positions of number 33 and number 34 were reversed in the ordinary disciples' residences. As the positions of mansion number 33 and mansion number 34 were swapped, the numbers on the two mansions were also swapped. Seeing this scene, everyone understood the meaning of the mansions being switched. It turned out that these mansions could be moved. Seeing that everyone understood what he meant, Niusheng gave them some instructions before letting them enter their respective residences. As he flew closer and closer to his mansion, Mo Qing Yun discovered that the abundance of spirit qi around the different ranked mansions was also different. This difference was similar to the difference in the concentration of the holy qi in the holy spring between the lotus leaves and the lotus flowers. It didn't take long for Mo Qing Yun to arrive at mansion number 30, and he glanced around the mansion. After looking around, Mo Qing Yun discovered that the interior of the mansion was very spacious. There were more than 10 rooms of various sizes. Behind these rooms was a backyard with pavilions, small bridges, and flowing water. The scenery was very pleasant, and everywhere was shrouded in a cloud of immortal energy. Mo Qing Yun revealed a satisfied smile as he looked around the courtyard. As expected of an immortal's residence, this environment is incomparable to the Tianhun continent and the ancient path. If I were to live in such a big mansion alone, it would be a little lonely. Fortunately, I let Gue Yu and Yun Yun stay together. Thinking that Gue Yu and Chu Yun Yun would also move in, Mo Qing Yun revealed a faint smile. He was very satisfied with his previous arrangements. As for letting Xie and the others live in the mansion, Mo Qingyun hadn't considered it yet. Firstly, he had just entered the Eternal South Immortal Palace and was not familiar with the rules here, so he did not know if he could bring outsiders into the palace. Secondly, his cultivation was still weak, so he could not guarantee the safety of Xie and the others. It was best not to let them show their faces in public. One had to know that Mo Qingyun had many enemies now. If they knew of the existence of Xie and the others, it would not be good if they made a move on Xie and the others. As for Gu Yu and Chu Yunyun, their situation was different. They had family backgrounds in the Wild Continent, so they did not have to worry about other people having bad intentions. Moreover, the two of them were also disciples of the Eternal South Immortal Palace. If others wanted to do something to them, they would have to think twice. After looking around, Mo Qingyun was not in a hurry to go into seclusion to cultivate. Instead, he prepared to set up a protective formation around the mansion. No matter what, he still had to stay in this mansion for a while, so it was necessary to set up a protective formation around it. Otherwise, if any Tom, Dick, and Harry came to his residence and disturbed his cultivation, it wouldn't be good. Standing in front of the mansion, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and waved at the void, leaving 3 words on the mansion's plaque. Qingyun Mansion. Looking at the name of his mansion, Mo Qingyun smiled with satisfaction and began to set up a protective formation around the mansion. Qingyun Mansion was just a private mansion. Its size could not be compared to the sacred mountain of Qingyun and the Weapon Seal sect. Therefore, it was a piece of cake for Mo Qingyun to set up a protective formation here. A few hours later, under Mo Qingyun's full effort, the protective formation of Qingyun Mansion was completed. Although this burning sky formation can't stop a true Immortal Realm expert, it's enough to stop a heavenly Immortal Realm expert. Mo Qingyun smiled in satisfaction when he saw the array formation he had set up. With this burning sky array, it would be impossible for others to bother him. At this point, Mo Qingyun could be considered to have gained a firm foothold in the Eternal South Immortal Palace. They're here. At this moment, Ghost Moon and Chu Yunyun had just finished setting up the protective formation when they arrived. When Mo Qingyun saw the 2 ladies, he walked out of the mansion with a faint smile on his face as he welcomed them into the Azure Cloud Mansion. Qingyun Mansion. Looking at the plaque in front of Qingyun Mansion, Ghost Moon and Chu Yunyun smiled and praised Mo Qingyun. Qingyun, you're very efficient. You finished setting up the mansion so quickly. This is the Burning Sky Formation. While the 2 of them were looking at Qingyun Mansion, Chu Yunyun was surprised and stared at the protective formation with her eyes wide open. Hearing Chu Yunyun's words, Ghost Moon Holy Lady was also surprised and stared at the formation with her eyes wide open. Qingyun, could it be that you were the one who set up this burning sky array? Although she knew that this burning sky formation was probably set up by Mo Qingyun, Ghost Moon still could not help but ask. That's right. Before the 2 of you came, I had just finished setting it up. In response to Ghost Moon Holy Lady's question, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and gestured to the 2 of them to enter. Although the 2 of them had already guessed that the burning sky array had been set up by Mo Qingyun, they didn't know what to do. However, when they heard Mo Qingyun admitted himself, they could not help but be shocked. They were amazed by Mo Qingyun's attainment in formations. This burning sky formation was a level 2 celestial formation. Experts below the true immortal realm would not be able to break it with brute force. Such a powerful array formation, Mo Qingyun, a person with cultivation at the 3rd level of the celestial realm, was actually able to set it up in just a few hours. This was too shocking. Then, the 2 women walked into the mansion with shock in their hearts under Mo Qingyun's lead. After bringing the 2 of them into the mansion, Mo Qingyun told them how to control the protective formation and some other details. After doing all this, Mo Qingyun did not say anything more to the 2 of them and walked into a room. Chapter 12:27. After entering the 5-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun took out the remaining wild holy qi and gave a portion to Mo Zai and Mo to refine. Then, Mo Qingyun divided a small portion of the wild holy qi and gave it to Xie, He Xian, iron wing, and savage beast to refine and absorb. After distributing the wild, holy qi, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and began to cultivate to improve his current realm. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, his current realm was still too low and could not unleash the power of the martial arts that he cultivated. It was normal for Mo Qingyun to have such thoughts. After all, the foundation of strength was the realm. If a person only had the cultivation of the sovereign realm, then no matter how powerful his martial arts and magic were, he would not be able to defeat a true immortal powerhouse. It cannot be helped. In the face of a huge gap between realms, it was not something that could be bridged with martial arts and magic. In the past few days of cultivation, Mo Qingyun's realm had reached the peak of the third level of the celestial realm. If it was not for the lack of time, Mo Qingyun would have broken through to the fourth level of the celestial realm long ago. The fourth tribulation of the celestial realm was the soul tribulation. Once the soul tribulation was broken through, the strength of one's soul would soar. Even a martial artist who is not good at soul cultivation would have his soul become stronger after going through the soul tribulation. Of course, there is still a big gap between him and a martial artist who is good at soul cultivation. After deciding to break through his cultivation, Mo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and began to break through to the fourth level of the celestial realm. Soon, Mo Qingyun felt a terrifying strange power suddenly surge into his sea of consciousness. Under the impact of this strange power, his sea of consciousness began to collapse bit by bit, turning into pure soul power. Close. When his sea of consciousness collapsed, Mo Qingyun's primordial spirit formed a hand seal, trying to reform his collapsed sea of consciousness. However, when the primordial spirit formed a hand seal to reform the sea of consciousness, its body began to crumble bit by bit. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but be shocked. He didn't expect this soul tribulation to be so terrifying. Along with the passage of time and the impact of that strange force, Mo Qingyun's soul core was completely dispersed in the end. Puff! His soul and sea of consciousness collapsed. Mo Qingyun spat out a mouthful of blood, his face turning pale. To a martial artist, although the soul and sea of consciousness were not the most important, they were still connected to their mind. Now, in Mo Qingyun's current situation, it could be said that his soul cultivation had been crippled. However, what puzzled Mo Qingyun was that although his sea of consciousness and primordial spirit had collapsed, his soul realm had not declined. From the looks of it, this abnormal scene should be related to the soul tribulation. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, a strange bloodline power was activated in his body. When this strange bloodline power appeared, it began to reform his sea of consciousness and primordial spirit, resisting the impact and destruction of the soul tribulation. Immemorial creation bloodline. Sensing the awakened bloodline power in his body, Mo Qingyun was immediately overjoyed and a brilliant smile appeared on his face. In this sudden situation, he had actually forgotten about the immemorial creation bloodline. With the recovery ability of the immemorial creation bloodline, as long as one of them was still alive, Mo Zai, or Mo, no matter how serious his injuries were, he could recover bit by bit. Under the effect of the immemorial creation bloodline, the collapsed sea of consciousness and primordial spirit began to reform bit by bit. Not only that, but after the sea of consciousness and primordial spirit reformed, their aura had clearly increased by a lot. In other words, Mo Qingyun had profited from this disaster. This should be considered as rebuilding after destruction. Several hours later, looking at the reformed sea of consciousness and primordial spirit, Mo Qingyun revealed a brilliant smile. He could clearly feel that his sea of consciousness and primordial spirit were now at least one realm stronger than before. After the sea of consciousness and primordial spirit were reformed, the soul tribulation power that destroyed the sea of consciousness and primordial spirit also withdrew from his body. This also indicated that Mo Qingyun had successfully passed the soul tribulation. As this strange power was withdrawn, the aura emitted from Mo Qingyun's body suddenly rose. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had a breakthrough and successfully advanced to the 4th level of the celestial being realm. After his cultivation broke through to the 4th level of the celestial being realm, Mo Qingyun began to restrain his mind and stabilize his current realm. In the following time, Mo Qingyun's cultivation slowly passed by. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed in the 5-directional small pagoda. After 3 months of continuous cultivation, Mo Qingyun's cultivation finally completely stabilized. After stabilizing his cultivation, Mo Qingyun did not stop cultivating. He began to cultivate the various martial arts that he had mastered. The first martial art that Mo Qingyun cultivated was the demon fist shattering the galaxy. Ever since he cultivated the 4th move of the demon fist shattering the galaxy, he had not made much progress. Now that his cultivation had improved, he should be able to cultivate the 5th move of the demon fist shattering the galaxy. The great heavenly demon finger was the most domineering finger in the demon fist shattering the galaxy. It was also the most powerful finger. In addition to including the characteristics of the first 4 moves, this finger also added a lot of spirituality. When the finger blasted out, it was as if an ancient demon god had come in person, exuding a supreme demonic aura, causing the enemy to feel fear from the bottom of their heart. However, due to the power of the great heavenly demon finger, the difficulty of cultivating it was naturally higher. However, Mo Qingyun did not have the slightest intention of giving up just because the great heavenly demon finger was difficult to cultivate. When he first started cultivating, he kept failing and could not even copy the embryonic form of the great heavenly demon finger. However, under Mo Qingyun's continuous efforts, his mastery of the great heavenly demon finger finally became more and more skillful. At this moment, on the 2nd floor of the 5-directional small pagoda, great heavenly demon finger, Mo Qingyun pointed at the void. Then, a wave of demonic aura mixed with destructive power blasted out from Mo Qingyun's thumb, turning into a finger with an astonishing aura. When this finger was formed, it blasted towards the ground from above with the momentum of Mount Tai. Bang! Under the bombardment of the great heavenly demon finger, the 2nd floor of the 5-directional small pagoda immediately shook, creating a terrifying shockwave. Clang! At this moment, a spiritual long sword on the ground of the 5-directional small pagoda could not bear the heavy bombardment of the great heavenly demon finger and shattered. Looking at the spiritual long sword collapsing, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a surprised expression. He had a better understanding of the power of the great heavenly demon finger. He said, "With the power of the great heavenly demon finger, I'm afraid that even an expert at the level of a mortal may not be able to withstand it." Chapter 1228. Mo Qingyun began to cultivate the 5-direction heaven-breaking technique after he finished cultivating the 5th form of the magic fist-shattering galaxy. He attempted to cultivate the 4th form, the divine earth war shield. Mo Qingyun sensed that the cultivation method of the 5-direction heaven-breaking technique that was sealed in his mind was slowly appearing in his consciousness. After obtaining the cultivation method of the 4th form of the 5-direction heaven-breaking technique, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and immediately began to cultivate it. Divine Earth War Shield. After reading the 4th form of the 5-direction heaven-breaking technique in his mind, Mo Qingyun had a rough understanding of the 4th form of the Divine Earth War Shield. The Divine Earth War Shield was a defensive technique that condensed the Earth attribute energy into a huge shield. After reading the cultivation method of the 4th form of the 5-direction heaven-breaking technique, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and began to cultivate the Divine Earth War Shield. Under Mo Qingyun's cultivation, a pure energy of the law of Earth quickly gathered beside him and condensed into a shield that was about 2 meters long and 1 meter wide. After the shield was formed, it hovered around Mo Qingyun and allowed him to control it with his mind. This divine Earth War shield can be controlled with one's mind. It's much more convenient to defend against. After discovering this feature of the divine Earth War shield, Mo Qingyun was delighted. He was even more satisfied with the divine Earth War shield. Looking at the divine Earth War shield that was condensed before him, Mo Qingyun held the immortal incineration battle halberd in his hand and directly pierced it. Bang! After receiving the immortal incineration battle halberd's overbearing impact, a low muffled sound came from the divine Earth War shield. Following that, cracks appeared on the divine Earth War shield. However, it did not shatter immediately. The power of my halberd just now was so powerful that even a 5th-level Sky Human Realm expert would not be able to take it head-on. Recalling the might of his halberd strike just now, Mo Qingyun's face revealed a contemplative expression. He had a general understanding of the Earth War deity shield's defensive capabilities, and said, "This Earth War deity shield has only just taken shape, yet it can withstand an attack comparable to a 5th-level Heaven Tier powerhouse. If it's cultivated to the realm of minor accomplishment, it should be enough to withstand an attack from an immortal Dew Stage powerhouse." Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately continued to cultivate the divine Earth War shield. Under Mo Qingyun's tireless cultivation, the divine Earth War shield that was condensed by him, the shield's power and the divine Earth War shield power was rapidly increasing. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. After a year of continuous cultivation, Mo Qingyun had finally cultivated the Earthen War deity shield to the small success stage. Now that Mo Qingyun used the Earth War deity shield, even an ordinary immortal Dew Stage expert will be able to easily defeat it. Seeing that the divine Earth War shield's minor realm had reached the minor realm, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating it and began to cultivate other martial arts. In this way, after a few months, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating. During this time, the other martial arts under Mo Qingyun's cultivation, although they did not directly advance, they had a great improvement. A year and a half has passed in the 5 Directions Small Pagoda, which is almost equivalent to a month in the outside world. It's time to leave the 5 Directions Small Pagoda. Mo Qingyun silently calculated the time in his heart. He moved his body and left the 5 Directions Small Pagoda. After leaving the 5 Directions Small Pagoda, he opened the door and walked out. When Mo Qingyun walked out of the room, Gui Yu and Chu Yunyun just happened to walk over. The 2 women looked disappointed. "What's wrong?" Seeing the 2 women's expressions, Mo Qingyun showed a look of curiosity and asked the 2 women. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the 2 women's bodies froze. They looked at Mo Qingyun blankly. After a short moment of absent-mindedness, Gui Yu Saintis sighed and said, "Just now, we went to the ethereal immortal mansion again. Unfortunately, our results were in the 140th place. There was not much improvement." Hearing Gui Yu Saintis' words, Mo Qingyun immediately understood their feelings. He smiled faintly and said to the 2 women, "It's only been a month. It's normal that your ranking did not rise much. As long as you persevere, you will definitely be in the top 100. Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words of comfort, the 2 women's expressions relaxed a lot. The disappointment in their hearts also lessened a little. After talking with Mo Qingyun for a while, Chu Yunyun's expression suddenly changed. She looked at Mo Qingyun expectantly and said, "Qingyun, now everyone is taking the Ethereal Immortal Mansions test to see how much they have improved in the past month. Do you want to take the test too?" "All right." Now Qingyun Mansion's ranking has dropped to 33rd place. Hearing Chu Yunyun's words, Gui Yu Saintis also showed an expectant expression. She opened her mouth and suggested to Mo Qingyun, "Qingyun, maybe you don't care about the ranking. But the higher the ranking, the more abundant the spirit qi around the mansion, and the easier it is to cultivate. I also think that you should catch up with the ranking. It's already dropped to 33rd place." Hearing the 2 women's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed a little. He was a little surprised by the change in the ranking of Qingyun Mansion. He thought to himself, The competition in the eternal South Immortal Mansion is really fierce. Although this kind of competition was not a competition, this kind of change in the ranking of the mansion put a lot of pressure on the disciples. This was because if you were not careful, your current ranking could be surpassed by others. In that case, if you want to maintain your ranking and not be surpassed, you can only continue to work hard and cultivate. In this case, let's go to the ethereal Immortal Mansion. After considering the two women's suggestion, Mo Qingyun did not want to waste any more time. He directly walked out of Qingyun Mansion. After walking out of Qingyun Mansion, Mo Qingyun and Gue Yu Saintus went to the ethereal Immortal Mansion with ease. At this moment, there were many people standing outside the ethereal Immortal Mansion. They were all here to take the test. At this moment, a familiar figure walked out of the ethereal Immortal Mansion. The figure walked out of the ethereal Immortal Mansion with an arrogant expression. He looked at Mo Qingyun, who was not far away, and sneered. Mo Qingyun, the gap between us has widened again. That's right. The person who was talking to Mo Qingyun was the clan brother of the 100 Transformation Devil Child, 100 Transformation Golden Peak. Is that so? That's not what I think. Hearing 100 Transformation Golden Peak's words, Mo Qingyun smiled indifferently and replied, Also, you seem to have forgotten a very important point. I haven't taken the test of the ethereal Immortal Mansion. Mo Qingyun ignored 100 Transformation Golden Peak and walked straight into the ethereal Immortal Mansion. I'd like to see how much your ranking will rise. 100 Transformation Golden Peak's face darkened when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions. He gritted his teeth and muttered to himself. Chapter 1229. As Mo Qingyun entered the misty, immortal abode, the 5 or 6-year-old child from last time appeared in front of him again. Little guy, you're here again. Seeing Mo Qingyun in front of him, the child faintly smiled at Mo Qingyun and simply greeted him. In response to the former's greeting, Mo Qingyun indifferently nodded and said in a deep voice, Please enlighten me. After a simple greeting, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more words with him and directly attacked him. This guardian's mental avatar wasn't even Mo Qingyun's match last time, so there was no need to even mention this time. When Mo Qingyun's fist blasted out, the consciousness embodiment guarding the pass was immediately blasted to smithereens. After blowing up the guardian's consciousness body, Mo Qingyun's footsteps didn't stop and directly rushed into the second level. The result was still the same. The guardian's consciousness body was still no match for Mo Qingyun's punch. Just like that, Mo Qingyun successfully charged into the third level of the misty, immortal abode after overcoming all obstacles. In the first level of the third level, a youth who looked to be in his early 20s stood in front of Mo Qingyun with a faint smile. He was a guardian of the first level of the third level, early immortal dew stage. Sensing the fluctuations of the guardian's aura, Mo Qingyun's expression became a lot more dignified and immediately withdrew his contempt. This would be his first battle with an immortal dew stage expert. Although the previous 9-headed dragon was also at the immortal dew stage, Mo Qingyun's cultivation was too low and didn't have the qualifications to fight back. Therefore, last time when Mo Qingyun faced the 9-headed dragon, it couldn't be considered a real battle with an immortal dew stage expert. Congratulations, you successfully reached the third level. Sizing up Mo Qingyun in front of him, the consciousness body faintly smiled. His expression slowly became serious and indifferently said, However, your footsteps will stop here. I won't allow you to go any further. After the young man finished speaking, his body floated up into the air. He raised his hand and took out a golden bead. This treasure is called the Golden Fantasy Worlds. It's a mid-grade celestial artifact. If you can break it open, you'll be considered to have passed the test. Taking out the golden bead, the young man introduced the origin of the bead and made a hand seal to activate the golden bead. Under the young man's control, the golden bead suddenly shone brightly and enveloped Mo Qingyun. Following this, Mo Qingyun found that the scene before him changed. He had entered a golden world. and there were buildings made of gold everywhere. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of hurried footsteps could be heard. Behind the footsteps, Mo Qingyun saw 6 soldiers wearing golden armor and holding long spears approaching him. The strength of these soldiers was very strong. Each of them was comparable to the early stage of immortal dew. Their bodies emitted a killing intent. Mo Qingyun had no doubt that he would die at the hands of these golden-armored soldiers if he underestimated them in the slightest. Slash! The 6 soldiers came to Mo Qingyun's side. They waved their long spears and stabbed at Mo Qingyun from different directions. Divine Earth War Shield, Scorching Sun Shield. Facing the attack of these soldiers, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to be careless. He hurriedly used 2 major defensive techniques. The long spears in the hands of these golden-armored soldiers had reached the early stage of celestial artifact. Since Mo Qingyun's body was strong, it wouldn't be easy for him to block it. Clang, clang, clang. The long spears in the hands of the golden-armored soldiers hit the Divine Earth War Shield and the Scorching Sun Shield. Immediately, a crisp sound was heard. Following this, Mo Qingyun's body was sent flying and heavily crashed into a row of buildings. Under Mo Qingyun's domineering impact, a large portion of these golden mansions and courtyards were instantly destroyed. Under this impact, Mo Qingyun immediately felt his qi and blood surging. His face became a little red. Fortunately, his body was far stronger than ordinary people. He didn't suffer too much damage. Otherwise, under the combined attack of the golden-armored soldiers, he would have been seriously injured. Although he wasn't directly injured, Mo Qingyun's current situation wasn't very optimistic. These 6 golden-armored soldiers are very strong. I can't fight them head-on. I have to use my wits. After clashing with the 6 golden-armored soldiers, Mo Qingyun made a clear decision. He didn't want to continue fighting with the golden-armored soldiers. Following this, Mo Qingyun quickly thought of a way to break through the illusory metal realms. This magic treasure, called the illusory metal realms, should be a magic treasure similar to a formation. Therefore, these golden-armored soldiers might not really exist. They're just products of formation. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun had a clearer idea of how to break through the illusory metal realms. Then, Mo Qingyun circled around the 6 golden-armored soldiers as he tried to find out what was different about them. After a careful observation, Mo Qingyun discovered the differences between the 6 golden-armored soldiers. His expression immediately became excited. He guessed, among the 6 golden-armored soldiers, one of them has a different color long spear. Could he be the breakthrough to break through the realms? When this thought appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind, he didn't hesitate anymore. He immediately attacked the golden-armored soldier with a different color long spear. Fight to the death. Great heavenly demon finger. Since he found the breakthrough, Mo Qingyun didn't hold back anymore. He directly used his strongest attack. Suddenly, a terrifying black essence force turned into a huge finger. It emitted a demonic power that could destroy the heavens. After the great heavenly demon finger was formed, it pressed down on the golden-armored soldier with a mount-high pressure. Bang! Facing the overbearing attack of the great heavenly demon finger, the golden-armored soldier was directly blasted into the ground. His body turned into a pile of residue. Swish! After the golden-armored soldier was killed by Mo Qingyun's finger, the other golden-armored soldiers immediately trembled and disappeared on the spot. However, before Mo Qingyun could recover from his shock, another 6 golden-armored soldiers appeared. Among them, there was still one golden-armored soldier with a different color long spear. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun immediately knew which golden-armored soldier to kill this round. After finding the breakthrough to kill the enemy, Mo Qingyun immediately became much easier to deal with these golden-armored soldiers. Next, under Mo Qingyun's continuous attacks, batches of golden-armored soldiers were killed by him. When Mo Qingyun defeated the 6th wave of golden-armored soldiers, the scene in front of him suddenly changed. He returned to the ethereal immortal abode. Congratulations to the challenger for successfully breaking through the illusory metal realms. Please proceed to the next stage. When Mo Qingyun returned to the ethereal immortal abode, the young man's voice sounded in his ears again. Thank you. Chapter 1230. Outside the ethereal immortal abode. When Mo Qingyun passed the first stage of the third level, his ranking on the Ethereal Immortal Abodes Assessment Ranking List changed. Ethereal Immortal Abodes Assessment Ranking List. First place, Jizhua, 10th stage of the third level, time used for 2 incense sticks. Second place, Qianguang Sun, 9th stage of the third level, time used for 3 incense sticks. Third place, Yuan Xia, 8th stage of the third level, time used for 1 incense stick. 29th place, Mo Qingyun, first stage of the third level, time used for 2 incense sticks. Seeing the change in Mo Qingyun's ranking, the ever-changing golden peak trembled and felt a strong pressure in his heart. Mo Qingyun actually passed the first stage of the third level. If he passed the second stage of the third level, he would be on the same level as him. No, impossible. This kid is only at the 4th level of the celestial realm. How can he fight with an immortal stage expert? Recalling the strength of the golden armored soldiers in the golden illusion world, the ever-changing golden peak found it hard to accept. He didn't believe that Mo Qingyun had such strength. He clearly remembered that the golden armored soldiers in the golden illusion world all had the strength of an immortal stage expert. In his opinion, even if Mo Qingyun found a way to break the boundary, he shouldn't be able to kill the Jin family soldiers. The difference in strength was obvious. Compared to the 100 transformations Golden Peak's shock, Gue Yu and Chu Yunyan's faces were filled with excitement. Qingyun has rushed to the 29th place. It seems that he has made great progress during this period of time. Sigh. Compared to Qingyun, I feel that I'm not worthy of my title as the #1 genius of the mortal road. Yun, don't think like that. It's not that our talent is too bad, but that Qingyun is too monstrous. At this moment, the 2 girls were surprised, and at the same time, they also felt a sense of emotion. While everyone was paying attention to Mo Qingyun, he arrived at the second stage of the third level of the ethereal immortal abode. When he arrived at the second stage of the third level of the ethereal immortal abode, Mo Qingyun saw the young man from the first stage, who was holding a jade folding fan and looking at him. Middle stage, immortal stage. The moment he saw this young man, Mo Qingyun could sense that his aura was much stronger than in the first round. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression became more serious. He thought to himself, it seems that this trial is even more difficult than the previous one. To be able to come here with a cultivation at the 4th level of the heaven tier, you're not bad. When Mo Qingyun sensed the young man's cultivation level, the young man also sensed his cultivation level. He praised Mo Qingyun and said, however, my test is not so easy to pass. You have to be prepared for failure. Please enlighten me. Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun showed an indifferent expression and made an inviting gesture. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, the young man did not waste his breath. He raised his hand and pointed at the jade folding fan in his hand and said, this is a medium-grade immortal artifact, the Heaven's Gate 9 Jadeite fan. If you can break the barrier of this Heaven's Gate 9 Jadeite fan, you'll pass this trial. After the young man finished speaking, he threw the jade folding fan in his hand, and it flew above Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. When the jade folding fan arrived above Mo Qingyun, it bloomed with a dazzling green light and turned into 9 huge jade tablets that trapped Mo Qingyun. As Mo Qingyun was trapped by the 9 jade tablets, the scene before his eyes suddenly changed into an endless sea of bamboo. When he saw the sea of bamboo before him, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately tensed up. There was a strong sense of vigilance in his eyes. Mo Qingyun could sense that there was a strong killing intent hidden in the sea of bamboo before him. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun raised his vigilance, a bamboo branch that exuded a terrifying aura overbearingly whipped towards him. Facing the attack of these bamboo branches, Mo Qingyun quickly took out the immortal burning battle halberd and swept it towards these bamboo branches. Ding, ding, ding. Facing the overbearing sweep of the immortal burning battle halberd, the bamboo branches produced a series of crisp sounds, like the collision of glasses. Under the impact of the immortal burning battle halberd's sweep, the bamboo branches immediately retreated into the surrounding bamboo forest. However, they were not cut by the immortal burning battle halberd. What a tough bamboo branch! Seeing that the immortal burning battle halberd's full force attack did not cut these bamboo branches, Mo Qingyun was shocked. One must know that the immortal burning battle halberd was a low-grade immortal artifact, but it still could not cut these bamboo branches. This showed how tough these bamboo branches were. After calming down, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed up, and he continued to go deeper into the sea of bamboo. Boom, boom, boom. When Mo Qingyun went deeper into the sea of bamboo, bamboo roots as thick as an arm suddenly burst out from the ground. After these bamboo roots came out, they quickly wrapped around Mo Qingyun with lightning speed. Divine Earth War Shield, Scorching Sun Shield. Facing these bamboo roots, Mo Qingyun did not dare to be careless. He quickly used two major defensive techniques. Bang, bang, bang. When the bamboo roots came into contact with the Divine Earth War Shield and Scorching Sun Shield, they produced a series of deafening sounds and were blocked around Mo Qingyun. Seeing that these bamboo roots were blocked outside his body, Mo Qingyun quickly waved the immortal burning battle halberd and crazily bombarded these bamboo roots. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy bombardment, these bamboo roots slowly retreated and returned to the ground. This can't go on. I must find a bamboo demon with offensive power as soon as possible. After receiving successive bamboo attacks, Mo Qingyun's expression turned grave as he thought of a countermeasure. As Mo Qingyun pondered, he also released his soul force to sense the location of a bamboo demon with offensive power. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun found the location of the bamboo demon. His figure moved, and he quickly chased after it. This bamboo demon's strength was very strong. It had already reached the middle stage of the Immortal Dew realm. Arriving in front of this bamboo demon, Mo Qingyun discovered that its body was 100 times bigger than ordinary bamboo. Its entire body was dark green, like a piece of jade. Swish, swish, swish. Seeing Mo Qingyun attacking it, the jade bamboo demon released bamboo leaves at Mo Qingyun, blocking Mo Qingyun's advance. Divine Earth War Shield. Facing these bamboo leaves, Mo Qingyun used the Divine Earth War Shield in front of him to block those bamboo leaves. Under the protection of the Divine Earth War Shield, Mo Qingyun easily blocked the bamboo leaves and arrived in front of the jade bamboo demon. Heavenly Flames Sky Breaking Halberd. Arriving in front of the jade bamboo demon, Mo Qingyun immediately waved the immortal burning battle halberd and attacked the bamboo pole of the jade bamboo demon. The immortal burning battle halberd struck the bamboo pole of the jade bamboo demon. Immediately, sparks flew and marks were left on the bamboo pole. However, this degree of damage was just like scratching an itch for the jade bamboo demon that was close to 1 meter in diameter. This bamboo demon's body is too hard. Physical attacks are useless. It seems that I can only try soul attacks. Chapter 12:31. I Light Blade Light. Mo Qingyun decided to use soul attacks to deal with the jade bamboo demon. He released a soul I Light ray and shot it at the jade bamboo demon. Then, a soul I Light ray that was comparable to a Heaven Immortal Realm expert's full strength shot out from Mo Qingyun's left eye. Poochie! The soul I Light ray was very fast. In the blink of an eye, it blasted into the jade bamboo demon's body. After being hit by the soul I Light ray, the jade bamboo demon immediately twisted its body and made a pained expression. The soul attack is effective. Seeing the jade bamboo demon's performance, Mo Qingyun's face lit up. He knew how to deal with the jade bamboo demon. Although the jade bamboo demon's body was strong, its attainments in the soul were very ordinary. This was a breakthrough to deal with it. Mo, come out and help me fight. After finding a way to deal with the jade bamboo demon, Mo Qingyun moved Mo out of the five-direction small pagoda and let him deal with the jade bamboo demon with him. Now that Mo's cultivation had reached the second level of the heaven immortal realm, his light rays attack was several times stronger than before. Now, the power of his light ray was so strong that even a mortal mist expert who was good at soul cultivation might not be able to withstand it. Not to mention this jade bamboo demon that was not good at soul cultivation. Then, facing the joint attack of Mo Qingyun and Mo, the jade bamboo demon's aura became weaker and weaker. After several hours, under the fierce attacks of Mo Qingyun and Mo, the jade bamboo demon finally fell to the ground unwillingly. After the jade bamboo demon was killed by Mo Qingyun, the scene in front of him changed. He returned to the ethereal immortal abode. Congratulations, you've passed the level. When Mo Qingyun returned to the ethereal immortal abode, the young man in the immortal abode said to Mo Qingyun with a faint smile on his face, "You let me win." Hearing the young man's words, Mo Qingyun nodded humbly and walked toward the third level of the third level. When Mo Qingyun arrived at the third level, the young man from the previous two levels appeared in front of him again. The appearance of the young man in the third stage was very different from the one in the previous two stages. In the first two stages, this young man was dressed like a scholar, but now he was wearing flaming scale armor and holding a 2-meter-long saber. Other than that, the aura emanating from this young man was much stronger than that of the previous two stages. Late stage Immortal Dew. Sensing the young man's aura, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious. His body emitted a strong battle intent. Although the pressure that this young man gave him was much greater than the previous two stages, it still stimulated his fighting spirit. What an amazing fighting spirit. Interesting. Sensing Mo Qingyun's battle intent, the former revealed a bewildered expression. Glancing at Mo Qingyun, he said solemnly, "Although your cultivation base is only at the fourth level of the heaven tier, your powerful battle intent has won my respect. I will fight you with all my strength." "Thank you." Hearing the young man's words, Mo Qingyun nodded gratefully and took the immortal burning halberd in his hand, burning all directions. When Mo Qingyun took out the immortal burning halberd, the young man in front of him waved his saber and swept it toward Mo Qingyun in all directions. The young man's saber swept out, and a terrifying flame energy erupted from the saber in his hand. Even Mo Qingyun, who had the protection of the scorching sun, felt an intense burning sensation when he was hit by the power of this flame. Fight to the death. Sky-breaking halberd. However, Mo Qingyun did not admit defeat. Instead, he waved the immortal burning halberd to meet his opponent. Under Mo Qingyun's waving, the immortal burning halberd also erupted with a terrifying heat wave and collided with the saber in the opponent's hand. Clang! When the immortal burning halberd and the saber collided, there was a crisp sound, and an even more terrifying firestorm erupted. Under the impact of this firestorm, Mo Qingyun and the young man's bodies were constantly pushed back. Of course, the young man only took half a step back while Mo Qingyun was sent flying. After knocking down a few pillars in succession, Mo Qingyun stabilized his body and his face became a little red. However, with his strong physical defense, Mo Qingyun did not suffer any serious injuries. To think that you were able to take my saber head-on without suffering any serious injuries. I have underestimated you. Seeing that Mo Qingyun's chi and blood were surging after his all-out attack, the young man's face was filled with shock. This situation was too different from what he had expected. So strong. After stabilizing his body with difficulty, Mo Qingyun was also shocked. He did not expect his opponent to be so strong. However, under such circumstances, Mo Qingyun's fighting spirit was aroused. Although you are very strong, if I fight to the death, I may have a chance to win. Looking at the young man in front of him, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with determination. He had decided to fight to the death with his opponent. In a short exchange, just now, Mo Qingyun felt that his god of war transformation was on the verge of a breakthrough. Perhaps he could make use of this battle to break through to the second level of the god of war transformation and fight to the death. Sealed door. Blood Chi Berserk. After Mo Qingyun made up his mind, he threw away all distracting thoughts and used two martial soul mystiques. After Mo Qingyun used the sealed door, it turned into a white ray of light and shot into the young man's body. After being suppressed by the sealed door, the young man's aura started to fall rapidly. As the young man's aura fell, Mo Qingyun's aura started to rise rapidly. In a short while, Mo Qingyun's cultivation level reached the 5th level of the sky human realm, while the young man's cultivation level fell to the middle level of the immortal dew realm. I didn't expect you to have such a mystique. Seeing the changes in their cultivation levels, the young man said in surprise. He took the initiative to brandish his long saber and attack Mo Qingyun. He shouted, "Supreme Grade Immortal Artifact Wild Goose Dragon Mark, open." Roar. After the young man shouted, the long saber in his hand shone brightly and emitted a terrifying aura. Under the power of the long saber, the immortal scorching battle halberd's aura started to weaken. It was like a grain of light meeting the moon. Even so, Mo Qingyun didn't back down. He continued to charge at his opponent with the immortal scorching battle halberd. Then, Mo Qingyun started a fight with his opponent. He didn't show any signs of backing down. As Mo Qingyun fought with his opponent, the fighting spirit emanating from his body grew stronger and stronger. After an unknown amount of time, the battle intent on Mo Qingyun's body finally reached a critical point. Fight to the death. Break. Sensing that his battle intent had reached its peak, Mo Qingyun roared and started to break through to the next level of the god of war transformation. Then, a blood-red light flashed in Mo Qingyun's eyes. The intensity of his battle intent entered a whole new level. Chapter 1232. After reaching the second level of the god of war transformation, Mo Qingyun's aura increased by 30%. At the same time that Mo Qingyun's aura grew stronger, the battle intent he exuded also doubled in strength. Facing the suppression of Mo Qingyun's battle intent, the young man's battle intent decreased by 70%. The battle intent he emitted weakened, and the strength of the gatekeeper was also weakened by nearly 30%. Because of this, Mo Qingyun, who was originally in a disadvantageous position, suddenly turned the tide of the battle around and gained the upper hand. Great Heavenly Demon Finger. After gaining the upper hand in the battle, Mo Qingyun no longer had any choice. He directly blasted a finger at the young man. A terrifying black origin energy burst out from Mo Qingyun's thumb and turned into a giant finger with terrifying demonic power. The giant finger condensed above the young gatekeeper and pressed down on him with the force of a thunderbolt. Bang! The attack of the great heavenly demon finger was extremely fast. Before the young man could react, he was blasted into the ground by the great heavenly demon finger. After a while, the young man's figure appeared again. His body was covered with wounds, and he looked extremely embarrassed. However, Mo Qingyun didn't stop there. Instead, he continued to attack him with the immortal burning battle halberd. Seeing Mo Qingyun charging towards him, the young man waved his hand at Mo Qingyun and said, "You don't have to fight anymore. You have passed. Admit it." Seeing this young man's performance, Mo Qingyun stopped what he was doing and cupped his hands humbly. After that, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and walked towards the 4th level of the 3rd level. As soon as he arrived at the 4th trial of the 3rd floor, Mo Qingyun felt a terrifying pressure descend upon him. This was the aura of a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage. Level 4 of the sky, human realm. Sensing Mo Qingyun's cultivation level, the consciousness body guarding the 4th trial also revealed a surprised expression. Obviously, he was very surprised that Mo Qingyun was able to reach him with such a cultivation. Interesting. In that case, Let me see what you are capable of. After a short moment of surprise, the mental clone didn't say anything to Mo Qingyun. He waved the battle saber in his hand and slashed at Mo Qingyun. Suddenly, a violent spiritual energy that could destroy the world burst out from the saber of the guarding spiritual body. Heavenly flames, sky-breaking halberd. Mo Qingyun didn't dare to be careless. He hurriedly waved the immortal burning battle halberd in his hand to block the attack. As the immortal burning battle halberd clashed with the other party's battle blade, Mo Qingyun felt a terrifying power rush into his body. Under the impact of this force, Mo Qingyun's body flew out and slammed heavily into the wall behind him. Puff! After colliding with the wall, Mo Qingyun spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. Too strong. Although the cultivation of the mental clone guarding the fourth level was only a small realm higher than that of the previous level, the difference in strength between the two was too great. Under such a huge gap in strength, all of Mo Qingyun's means seemed to be powerless. However, Mo Qingyun didn't admit defeat. Instead, he continued to fight with the gatekeeper. In the end, after Mo Qingyun used all of his trump cards, he was still killed by the gatekeeper. After Mo Qingyun was killed by the gatekeeper, his figure disappeared from the fourth level and returned to the entrance of the ethereal immortal mansion. It seems that my strength should be between the late stage and peak immortal due after using all of my trump cards. After several tests in the ethereal immortal mansion, Mo Qingyun had a clear understanding of his current strength. Mo Qingyun muttered to himself in his heart before he didn't stay any longer. He turned around and left the misty immortal abode. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun walked out of the ethereal immortal mansion, his ranking changed again. Ethereal Immortal Mansion's assessment ranking list. First place, Jizhua, level 3, 10th level, time taken, 2 incense sticks. Second place, Qianguang Sun, level 3, 9th level, time taken, 3 incense sticks. Third place, Yuan Xia, level 3, 8th level, time taken, 1 incense stick. 23rd place, Mo Qingyun, level 3, 3rd level, time taken, 2 incense sticks. 27th place, 100 Changes Golden Peak, level 3, 2nd level, time taken, 3 incense sticks. Outside the ethereal immortal mansion, 100 Changes Golden Peak was stunned when he saw the change in Mo Qingyun's ranking. Mo Qingyun's ranking had surpassed his. Not long ago, Mo Qingyun was mocked by him. Now he had surpassed him. This huge difference made him feel very uncomfortable. Thump, thump, thump. Under such a huge blow, 100 Changes Golden Peak couldn't help but tremble. He took a few steps back. No, impossible. How could his strength have improved so much in just a month? 100 Changes Golden Peak couldn't accept this result. He felt as if there was a huge rock stuck in his throat. When he first met Mo Qingyun, the gap between him and Mo Qingyun wasn't as big as the difference between clouds and mud, but it was still a gap. However, when he compared himself with Mo Qingyun for the second time, the gap between him and Mo Qingyun had narrowed to only one place. Even so, he was still ahead of Mo Qingyun. Who would have thought that in just a month's time, Mo Qingyun would overtake him so strongly? This difference made 100 Changes Golden Peak feel very uncomfortable. At this moment, while 100 Changes Golden Peak was feeling down, Mo Qingyun walked out of the ethereal immortal mansion. Seeing 100 Changes Golden Peak outside the ethereal immortal mansion, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He walked up to him leisurely and pointed at the ethereal immortal mansion assessment ranking. Hey, you've overtaken me. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer paid any attention to the versatile Golden Peak, leaving him with a cool back view. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the Golden Peak of 100 Transformations immediately trembled with anger. He felt greatly humiliated. Mo Qingyun, you've gone too far. Recalling Mo Qingyun's disdainful look, 100 Changes Golden Peak clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Soon, it will be time for the new disciples to gain experience. When the time comes, I'll make sure you don't return. Although your ethereal immortal mansion assessment results are good, it doesn't mean that you're really strong. At this moment, 100 Change's golden peak still held on to the last bit of hope in his heart. He felt that Mo Qingyun's good results in the ethereal immortal mansion assessment must have been due to some external factors. Qingyun, you're really amazing. You actually raised your ranking to 23rd. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk up to them, Ghost Moon and Chu Yunyun were pleasantly surprised. Their eyes were filled with admiration. They knew very well how difficult the ethereal immortal mansion assessment was and how difficult it was to raise one's ranking. Chapter 1233. Chapter content begins. Dong dong dong. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun's group of 3 were talking, a thunderous sound of a gong entered their ears. After hearing the gong sound, Mo Qingyun and the others' expressions changed. They immediately understood the meaning of the gong sound. The Eternal South Immortal Palace was gathering the new disciples and was about to announce the mission. Then, Mo Qingyun and the others did not hesitate and rushed to the source of the sound. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and the others came to a huge square and waited for the mission to be announced. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and the others waited. 2 young men who looked to be in their 30s walked into the square with a scroll in their hands. "Greetings, senior brother." Seeing the 2 of them walk into the square, everyone in the square showed a respectful expression and bowed to the 2 of them. The 2 men's cultivation was not low. They had reached the peak of the immortal core stage of the heaven immortal stage and were only 1 step away from the immortal infant stage. Looking at their clothes, they seemed to be disciples of the Eternal South Immortal Palace. However, their status was higher than Mo Qingyun and the others. When the 2 men came to the center of the square, they looked arrogant and glanced at Mo Qingyun and the others in the square. When the 2 men saw Yuan Xie, they nodded to him. They seemed to be familiar with each other. The 2 men exchanged glances with Yuan Xie. Then, they followed Yuan Xie's gaze and looked in the direction of Mo Qingyun. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed and a bad feeling rose in his heart. Looking at the 2 men and Yuan Xie's behavior, they seemed to be plotting something and were preparing to deal with Mo Qingyun and the mission. Now, when Mo Qingyun was alert, the young man in blue said in a deep voice, "Now, I will announce the mission to you. It is to investigate the death of the Iron Earthworm tribe's leader." After the death of the Iron Earthworm tribe's leader, the leader of the Iron Earthworm tribe is the great elder of the Iron Earthworm tribe. Next, the blue-clothed youth told Mo Qingyun and the others some information about the Iron Mystic tribe. From a young man's words, it seemed that the Iron Earthworm race had secretly pledged allegiance to other ancient races and were preparing to betray the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Looks like this mission isn't simple. Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed as he listened to the blue-clothed young man's explanation. He pondered what to do next. To Mo Qingyun, it didn't matter if he could complete the mission given by the Eternal South Immortal Palace. The most important thing was how he could resolve Yuan Xie and the others' scheme. After all, if he failed the mission, he could do it again. If he fell into Yuan Xie's trap and lost his life because of it, it would be a huge loss. The blue-clothed youth briefly explained the information about the Iron Earthworm clan. Then, he said with a serious expression, "In order to make this operation more disciplined, we have decided to divide you into groups of 6. Each group has 2 ordinary, elite, and core disciples." Hearing the words of the blue-clothed youth, the expressions of the ordinary disciples and elite disciples immediately became much more relaxed. In their opinion, with 2 core disciples accompanying them, the following operation would be much safer. Then, the blue-clothed youth opened the document in his hand and began to announce the names of the groups. Group 1, Jizhua Li Tao, Hanwei, Wang Si, Chenlin Gupan. Group 2, Qianguang Sun, Song Li, Yu Chenghao, Ma Juanxiang, Zhou Zhangping Huhai. Group 17, Yun Xing, Mo Qingyun, Wang Wenhui Li Kong. Xiaolan 1 Kong Shang. After a while, the list of more than 100 groups was read out by the blue-clothed youth. When the names of the teams were read out, the 6 people in each team began to gather together. It's him. Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw Yun Xing walking towards him. A trace of vigilance rose in his heart. Mo Qingyun had some impression of Yun Xing. This guy often stayed with Yuan Xie. Now, Yun Xing wanted to be in the same group as Mo Qingyun. It seemed that he didn't come with good intentions. Senior brother Yun Xing, senior brother Mo Qingyun. Looking at Mo Qingyun and Yun Xing in front of them, the 4 ordinary and elite disciples bowed respectfully. Although Mo Qingyun's cultivation was lower than theirs, they didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Mo Qingyun. They couldn't help it. Although Mo Qingyun's cultivation was not high, his strength was not something they could compare with. Mo Qingyun and Yun Xing nodded indifferently in response to the 4 salutes. This was considered a response to their greetings. Since the team assignments have been completed, follow the 2 of us. After dividing Mo Qingyun and the others into groups, the blue-clothed youth and Shui Luo flew out of the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Hearing the blue-clothed youth and Shui Luo's instructions, the others didn't hesitate and followed them. Senior brother Shun Xiong, senior brother Shui Luo, how is the strength of the Iron Earthworm clan? Shouldn't you tell us about it? On the way to the Iron Earthworm clan, Jizhua asked Shun Xiong and Shui Luo with a cold expression. Hearing Jizhua's tone, Shun Xiong showed a displeased expression and said, Jizhua, don't think that you can talk to us in such a tone just because you are the first among the new disciples. If you want to stay in the Eternal South Immortal Palace, you must learn to respect your seniors. You don't have the right to teach me how to do things. Hearing Shun Xiong's displeased words, Jizhua retorted without showing any weakness and said, Shun Xiong, you should know that the Eternal South Immortal Palace gave you the task of conveying the information of the Iron Earthworm clan to us and taking us to the Iron Earthworm clan's territory. Now you're deliberately hiding the strength of the Iron Earthworm clan. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the Eternal South Immortal Palace? You, hearing Jizhua's words, Shun Xiong showed an angry expression. He didn't know how to refute Jizhua. Although Jizhua's words were not polite, what he said was the truth, so he couldn't refute it. After a short silence, Shun Xiong's face darkened. He wanted to teach Jizhua a lesson. Shun Xiong, don't be impulsive. Seeing Shun Xiong's action, Shui Luo's face immediately tightened. He hurriedly persuaded Shun Xiong. Have you forgotten the purpose of our trip? Our purpose is to deal with Mo Qingyun. It's not worthwhile to offend Jizhua. Hearing Shui Luo's persuasion, Shun Xiong's face turned better, and he stopped attacking Jizhua. Seeing Shun Xiong's action, Shui Luo's face relaxed a lot. He turned to Jizhua and said with a smile, Junior brother Jizhua, we were indeed careless just now. Now in the Iron Earthworm clan, the strongest person is the great elder of the Iron Earthworm clan. He is at the peak of the immortal fog stage of the heaven immortal stage. Then Shui Luo explained the strength of the Iron Earthworm clan to everyone in detail. Peak of the immortal fog stage of the heaven immortal stage. Mo Qingyun immediately frowned when he heard Shui Luo's words, and the vigilance in his heart grew even stronger. Chapter 1234. After 2 days of training, Mo Qingyun and the others finally arrived at the Iron Talon tribe. Arriving outside the Iron Talon tribe, Chen Xiong did not bring Mo Qingyun and the rest into the Iron Talon tribe. Glancing at the Iron Talon tribe, Chen Xiong's expression became more serious, and his brows furrowed. Looking at his expression, he seemed to have found something wrong. 2 hours ago, senior brother Zheng said he would wait for us here. Why don't I see him now? Shen Xiong pondered for a moment and said doubtfully. Then, he turned to look at Mo Qingyun and the others and said, There's a change in the plan. Let's find a place to settle down first. We'll enter the Iron Earthworm clan after I get in touch with my senior brother from the Immortal Palace. After telling Mo Qingyun and the others, Chen Xiong flew to a hill not far away. intending to let Mo Qingyun and the others settle down there first. Hearing Chun Xiong's words, Mo Qingyun was puzzled, but he still followed Chun Xiong to the hill. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the hill, waiting for Chun Xiong's next arrangement. Under everyone's gaze, Chun Xiong took out a jade mirror and formed a hand seal in front of the jade mirror. Then, a light flashed on the jade mirror, and a figure appeared. This person's clothes were the same as Chun Xiong's, and he seemed to be a disciple of the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Senior brother Zheng Shijing, I didn't see you at the meeting place just now. Did something happen in the Iron Talon tribe? Looking at the young man in the jade mirror, Chun Xiong revealed a worried expression and said something that was puzzling. Hearing Chun Xiong's question, Zheng Shijing in the jade mirror sighed and said with a heavy expression, Indeed, a great change has occurred. The Iron Earthworm clan is under the control of the three-headed Hellhound clan. Now, there is a true immortal stage three-headed Hellhound in the Iron Earthworm clan. You must not enter the Iron Earthworm clan. A true immortal three-headed Hellhound tribe. Hearing Zheng Shijing's words, Chun Xiong's expression immediately changed, and he thought of a very bad consequence. He could not help but ask, What about you and the other senior brothers? They're all dead. Hearing Chun Xiong's question, Zheng Shijing replied with a heavy expression, 2 hours ago, I contacted the elders of the Immortal Palace. They have already sent people to the Iron Earthworm clan and told me to tell you not to enter the Iron Earthworm clan. Find a place to settle down for the time being. After they meet up with you, we will discuss how to deal with the Iron Earthworm clan. All right. Hearing Zheng Shijing's explanation, Chun Xiong let out a deep breath, a lingering fear in his heart. Fortunately, he was vigilant just now and didn't rashly lead everyone into the Iron Earthworm race. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. After that, Chun Xiong led Mo Qingyun and the others away from the Iron Earthworm tribe and found a secluded place to settle down. After waiting for about 20 hours, the reinforcements sent by the Eternal South Immortal Palace arrived. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that the reinforcements sent by the Eternal South Immortal Palace were Niu Sheng and Xiang Xie, whom he was familiar with. Seeing the arrival of Xiang Xie and Niu Sheng, Mo Qingyun smiled brightly. With Niu Sheng here, his safety was guaranteed. Greetings, Senior Niu Sheng and Senior Xiang Xie. Seeing the arrival of Niu Sheng and Xiang Xie, Mo Qingyun and the others showed a respectful expression and saluted Niu Sheng and Xiang Xie. No need to be so polite. Seeing the actions of Mo Qingyun and the others, Xiang Xie and Niu Sheng waved their hands with a faint smile. Niu Sheng said, Due to the changes in the Iron Earthworm clan, the Immortal Palace has decided to change the mission of this training. The investigation of the death of the Iron Earthworm clan has been changed to the extermination of the Iron Earthworm clan. Extermination of the Iron Earthworm clan. Hearing the words of Xiang Xie and Xiang Xie, not only were Mo Qingyun and the others shocked, but also Chun Xiong and Xiang Xie. After all, there was a genuine celestial realm expert in the Iron Earthworm clan. With the cultivation of Mo Qingyun and the others, could they deal with him? Seeing the expressions of Mo Qingyun and the others, Niu Sheng immediately knew what they were thinking. He smiled faintly and said, You don't have to panic. Xiang Xie and I will kill the genuine celestial realm expert in the Iron Earthworm clan. As for the Immortal Elixir and the Immortal Infant Stage Iron Earthworm clan members, they will be killed by the inner disciples of the Immortal Palace. Hearing Niu Sheng's words, Mo Qingyun and the others relax a lot. They only needed to deal with the Iron Earthworm clan members below the Immortal Dew stage, so there was not much of a problem. At this time, Xiang Xie, who had been silent all this time, added with a faint smile, In addition, the Immortal Palace has added some additional rewards for this training. The first person to kill an Iron Earthworm clan member will receive a longevity Immortal Elixir, which can increase his cultivation by 100 years. The second person will receive a Wuyang Spiritual Purple Immortal Elixir, which can increase his cultivation by 60 years. Next, Xiang Xie explained the rewards to Mo Qingyun and the others. Increase my cultivation by 100 years? Hearing Xiang Xie's description of the effects of the immortal elixir, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked. He was surprised by the effects of the immortal elixir. It should be known that even with the help of the time-shifting formation, Mo Qingyun had only cultivated for 100 years in this life. Consuming an immortal pill could instantly increase one's cultivation by 100 years. This was simply too shocking. Then, everyone's faces were filled with excitement and anticipation. They could not wait to kill the Iron Earthworm clan members immediately. Looking at the impatient crowd, Xiang Xie and Xiang Xie did not delay any longer. They took out a strange jade cauldron and said, "This is the Qi and Blood Cauldron. After you kill an Iron Earthworm clan member, you can use it to collect the Qi and blood of the Iron Earthworm clan members. At that time, you can count the number of Iron Earthworm clan members that you have killed." After introducing the jade cauldrons in his hand, Xiang Xie distributed them to Mo Qingyun and the others. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the others all received the Qi and Blood Cauldron. Since the Qi and Blood Cauldrons have been distributed, let's go to the Iron Talon tribe. After instructing Mo Qingyun and the others, Xiang Xie and Xiang Xie's figures flashed and led everyone deeper into the Iron Talon tribe. 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived outside the Iron Talon tribe again. This time, they did not hesitate at all and directly killed their way into the Iron Talon tribe. When Xiang Xie and Xiang Xie killed their way into the Iron Talon tribe, he also sent out a signal flare to inform the inner disciples of the Immortal Palace to attack. After a while, auras that surpassed the immortal core stage of the heavenly immortal realm erupted from the Iron Talon tribe. When these auras erupted, Shualuo and Xiang Xie did not hesitate and also rushed into the Iron Talon tribe. Before Shualuo rushed into the Iron Talon tribe, he instructed Mo Qingyun and the others, "You will still follow the previous team and enter the Iron Talon tribe to hunt. Do not act alone." Chapter 1235. Seeing that Xiang Xie and the others had entered the Iron Earthworm clan, Mo Qingyun and the others did not hesitate and sneaked into the Iron Earthworm clan. Soon, earthworms with many small tentacles and copper skin and iron bones appeared in front of Mo Qingyun and the others. Seeing these iron earthworms, Mo Qingyun and the others took out their weapons and rushed toward them. Facing Mo Qingyun and the others who were like wolves, tigers, and leopards, the iron earthworms in the periphery were quickly slaughtered. However, when the iron earthworms in the periphery were slaughtered, a large group of iron earthworms in the inner circle rushed out. These iron earthworms in the inner circle were obviously much stronger than those in the periphery. Their cultivation was above the celestial realm, and some of them were even above the celestial realm. Facing the pursuit of these iron earthworms in the inner circle, Mo Qingyun and the others were quickly scattered in different directions. There was no other way. There were too many of them. It was not an exaggeration to say that there were hundreds of thousands of them. After a while, Yin Xing, Mo Qingyun, Wang Wenhui, Li Kong, Zhao Lanwen, and Kong Shang sneaked into a dense forest. Seeing your brother Yin Xing, there are too many iron earthworms. How are we going to annihilate them? After sneaking into the dense forest, Wang Wenhui revealed a nervous expression as he asked Yin Xing in front of him. Hearing Wang Wenhui's words, Li Kong and the other two also had the same expression. Let's get rid of the pursuing iron earthworms first. Yin Xing replied coldly to Wang Wenhui's question behind him. After a few hours, Mo Qingyun and the others finally got rid of the pursuit of the iron earthworms. Asterisk Russell, asterisk at this moment, as Mo Qingyun and the others were moving forward, a rapid rustling of leaves came from the dense forest ahead. As the leaves rustled, Mo Qingyun saw 6 figures appear from the thicket in front of him. After seeing the 6 figures, Mo Qingyun's face turned ugly and a wisp of killing intent flashed in his eyes. Yes, the 6 figures in front of him were the 100 Transformation Golden Peak and the others. Among the 6 people from the 100 Transformations Golden Peak, Other than the 100 Transformations Devil Sun and Zhu Yi, Mo Qingyun did not have a deep impression of the other three. In Mo Qingyun's impression, he vaguely remembered that the three of them were called Wu Suanxing, Gong Qingxi, and Wang Yinping. Senior brother Yun Xing, junior brothers. When the 100 Transformations Golden Peaks saw Mo Qingyun and the others, he sneered at Mo Qingyun before greeting Yun Xing and the others. In 100 Transformation Golden Peaks' opinion, here was the best chance to kill Mo Qingyun. At that time, even if he killed Mo Qingyun, he could blame it on the Iron Earthworm clan. So it's junior brother Jin Feng and the rest of you. Yun Xing sneered when he saw the 100 Transformation Golden Peak in front of him. He warmly greeted the 100 Transformation Golden Peak. Senior brother Yun Xing, there are too many Iron Earthworms. It's too dangerous for us to move alone. Why don't we move together? 100 Transformation Golden Peak exchanged a few pleasantries with Yun Xing. He no longer hid his true thoughts and was ready to move together with Yun Xing. Of course, his purpose of moving together with Yun Xing was to find an opportunity to get rid of Mo Qingyun. Wang Wenhui and the others looked expectant when they heard 100 Transformation Golden Peaks words. They hoped that Yun Xing would agree to 100 Transformation Golden Peaks' request. Presumably, from their point of view, with two more core disciples accompanying them, their safety would be a little more guaranteed. When the Golden Peak of Transformation said this, he made eye contact with Yun Xing and deliberately glanced at Mo Qingyun. Yun Xing immediately understood 100 Transformation Golden Peak's intention. He smiled faintly and said, "Junior brother Jin Feng, you're right. It's safer to move together. Then we'll have to rely on senior brother Yun Xing's protection." 100 Transformation Golden Peak smiled evilly when he saw that Yun Xing was willing to move with him. It was as though his evil plan had succeeded. Mo Qingyun had guessed Yun Xing's and the others' intentions, but he didn't object. Mo Qingyun knew very well that even if he objected, it wouldn't be of any use. Instead, he would be blamed by the others. After forming a group with 100 Transformation Golden Peak and the others, Mo Qingyun and the others moved forward together, searching for lone iron earthworms in the dense forest to kill. With the addition of 100 Transformation Golden Peak and the others, it was indeed much safer for them to hunt iron earthworms. Of course, this was for Wang Wenhui and the others. It didn't affect Mo Qingyun too much. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the presence of 100 Transformation Golden Peak and the others made it difficult for him to unleash his full potential. After a while, they encountered two large groups of iron earthworms that seemed to be converging. Senior brother Yun Xing, if these two groups of iron earthworms converge, I'm afraid we won't be able to deal with them. Looking at the two waves of iron earthworms in front of them, Golden Face of 100 Transformations revealed a solemn expression and said, "I think we can each send a junior brother to lure away one wave of iron earthworms so that we can deal with the other wave of iron earthworms." Your suggestion is good. Yun Xing nodded coldly when he heard 100 Transformation Golden Peak suggestion. He then looked at Mo Qingyun and said, "Junior brother Mo, you and junior brother Zhu Yi will go and lure away the other group of iron earthworms." Me? Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he heard Yun Xing's words. There was a hint of displeasure in his expression. With Mo Qingyun's intelligence, he could naturally tell that Yun Xing wanted him to lure away the iron earthworms, but in reality, he was sending him to his death. Zhu Yi sneered when he saw Mo Qingyun's expression. He said sarcastically, "Senior brother Mo, senior brother Yun Xing is the leader of your group. Are you going to disobey his orders?" "Shut up. It's not up to you to talk nonsense about my matters." Hearing Zhu Ye's words, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold as he scolded him. Zhu Yi instinctively showed fear when he heard Mo Qingyun's reprimand. His face twitched a few times as he complained to Yun Xing, "Senior brother Yun Xing, you should know what I mean. I'm just speaking the truth." The 100 Transformation Devil Child sneered when he heard Zhu Ye's words. He deliberately advised Yun Xing, "Senior brother Yun Xing, Mo Qingyun might not be willing to lure away the iron earthworms because he's afraid that he won't be able to kill them. You shouldn't force him. Some people place too much importance on their personal interests. Everyone's expression changed when they heard the 100 Transformation Devil Child's words. They looked at Mo Qin Yun with dissatisfaction. Everyone's reaction meant that they agreed with the 100 Transformation Devil Child's words. Mo Qin Yun didn't waste time talking nonsense with them when he saw their reaction. He charged towards a group of iron earthworms. Chapter 1236. Seeing Mo Qin Yun charging towards the iron earthworms, Golden Face Peak signaled Zhu Yi to follow Mo Qin Yun. Seeing the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's signal, Zhu Yi nodded with a charming expression and chased after Mo Qin Yun. While Mo Qin Yun was luring away a wave of iron earthworms, Golden Face Peak and the others were not in a hurry to deal with the other wave. Instead, they silently watched Mo Qin Yun. Under the watchful eyes of Golden Face Peak and the others, Mo Qin Yun displayed the divine earth shield and violent scorching sun and rushed into the crowd of iron earthworms. After rushing into the crowd of iron earthworms, Mo Qin Yun waved the immortal burning battle halberd and wantonly slaughtered this wave of iron earthworms. The strength of this wave of iron earthworms was not strong. The strongest among them was only at the early stage immortal fog realm. They were not a match for Mo Qin Yun at all. Under Mo Qin Yun's attack, dozens of iron earthworms were quickly killed on the spot by Mo Qin Yun. After seeing this scene, not only was Zhu Yi behind Mo Qin Yun dumbfounded, but even Yun Xing and the others were dumbfounded. This situation was too different from what they had imagined. Originally, they thought that Mo Qin Yun would be hunted down by the iron earthworms after luring away this wave of iron earthworms. Then, when Mo Qin Yun was being chased by the iron earthworms, they would hit Mo Qin Yun while he was down and directly kill Mo Qin Yun. They really did not expect that Mo Qin Yun's strength would be so terrifying that he could directly kill this wave of iron earthworms. How can this be? How can Mo Qin Yun be so strong? Senior brother Mo is so powerful. It turns out that he had not used his full strength before and deliberately left the weaker iron earthworms to us. We have underestimated him. I didn't expect him to be so capable. Seeing Mo Qin Yun's performance, Yun Xing and the others suddenly had different expressions and different thoughts in their hearts. So strong. Looking at Mo Qin Yun slaughtering the iron earthworms in front of him, Zhu Yi immediately turned pale with fright, and a chill rose in his heart. Immediately after, his ill intentions towards Mo Qin Yun vanished without a trace. What a joke! These iron earthworms were being slaughtered by Mo Qin Yun as if they were vegetables. If he continued to cause trouble for Mo Qin Yun, wouldn't that be the same as courting death? Under everyone's gaze, nearly half of the 100 iron earthworms around Mo Qin Yun were killed by Mo Qin Yun. After killing more than half of the iron earthworm clansmen, Mo Qin Yun didn't stop. Instead, he slaughtered even faster. In the blink of an eye, all the iron earthworms around Mo Qin Yun had been slaughtered. After slaughtering all the iron earthworms around him, Mo Qin Yun took out the blood chi cauldron and collected the blood chi of the surrounding iron earthworms. Seeing Mo Qin Yun's performance, Yun Xing and the others were shocked again. They were surprised by Mo Qin Yun's performance. In just a blink of an eye, more than 100 iron earthworms around the immortal fog stage were all slaughtered by Mo Qin Yun. They couldn't achieve such a result. While Yun Xing and the others were shocked, Mo Qin Yun's figure moved and rushed towards the remaining wave of iron earthworms. Seeing Mo Qin Yun's action, the expressions of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and the others changed drastically. They said anxiously, "Let's act quickly. Otherwise, we won't be able to kill the next iron earthworm clansman." As the words of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak fell, his figure moved and rushed towards the remaining wave of iron earthworms. Just a moment ago, they were worried that there were too many iron earthworms and that they wouldn't be able to kill them. They wanted to use this to trap Mo Qin Yun. But a moment later, they were worried that they wouldn't be able to kill the iron earthworms. This result was really ironic. While the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and the others were moving, Mo Qingyun had already rushed into the wave of iron earthworms and waved the immortal burning halberd to kill them. In the face of Mo Qingyun's tyrannical slaughter, the iron earthworms were not spared, and their lives were reaped by the immortal burning halberd. Then, under Mo Qingyun's continuous attacks, the remaining wave of iron earthworms decreased at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a few seconds, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and the others arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and looked at each other in dismay. They were all dead. Under Mo Qingyun's tyrannical attacks, the remaining wave of iron earthworms was also completely annihilated. Seeing this result, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and the others couldn't help but feel angry. Mo Qingyun had actually killed all the iron earthworms and left none of them alive. Mo Qingyun didn't care about the anger of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and the others. He took out the blood chi cauldron unhurriedly and collected the chi and blood of the surrounding iron earthworms. In a short while, the chi and blood of the surrounding iron earthworms was absorbed by Mo Qingyun into the blood chi cauldron. Mo Qingyun, you actually monopolized the chi and blood of these iron earthworms. Do you still think that we are your teammates? After a short pause, the 100 Transformation Golden Peak berated Mo Qingyun with a sullen look on his face. After hearing the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's words, the 100 Transformations Devil Child sneered and said sarcastically, I've already said that Mo Qingyun is a selfish person who only thinks about his own interests and doesn't care about what others think. The expressions of Wang Wenhui and the others changed when they heard the 100 Transformations Devil Child's words. They looked at Mo Qingyun with dissatisfaction. It seemed like they also agreed with the 100 Transformations Devil Child's words. However, they didn't dare show it because of Mo Qingyun's strength. Upon seeing that everyone was hostile to Mo Qingyun, Yunxing ordered Mo Qingyun coldly. Mo Qingyun, we discovered these two waves of iron earthworms together. You can't monopolize their chi and blood. Take out the chi and blood in your blood chi cauldron and share it with everyone. Are you ordering me? Hearing Yunxing's words, Mo Qingyun showed a contemptuous expression and curled his lips in disdain. Previously, Yunxing had ordered him to lure the iron earthworms away, which had already pissed him off. He hadn't expected that Yunxing would push his luck and order him to share the chi and blood in his blood chi cauldron. This had already exceeded the limit of his patience. You can think of it that way. Yunxing replied coldly to Mo Qingyun's question. He released his aura to suppress Mo Qingyun and said, Now, take out your blood chi cauldron and share the chi and blood in it with everyone. Upon seeing Yunxing's overbearing actions, Mo Qingyun sneered and took out his blood chi cauldron. He said coldly, The blood chi cauldron is right here. If you want the chi and blood in it, go ahead and snatch it. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ignored Yunxing and the others and turned to walk away. Upon seeing Mo Qingyun's contemptuous actions, Yunxing and the others' faces darkened and a strong killing intent emanated from their bodies. Chapter 1237. Of course, Wang Wenhui and the others did not make a move against Mo Qingyun. They knew very well that with their strength, it was impossible for them to pose a threat to Mo Qingyun. If they were to make a move, they would only bring disaster upon themselves and fall into a calamity of annihilation. Although Wang Wenhui and the others had retreated, Zhu Ye's eyes flickered as if he was planning something sinister. Divine Earth War Shield, Scorching Sun. Facing the attacks of Yunxing and the others, Mo Qingyun did not dare to be careless and hurriedly displayed two great defensive techniques. Suddenly, a yellow shield and a flame shield condensed around his body one after another. Bang, bang, bang. After the Divine Earth War Shield and the Flame Shield were condensed, they blocked the attacks of Yunxing and the others and produced a terrifying spiritual energy storm. Under this spiritual energy storm, Mo Qingyun was immediately sent flying backward and the direction he was sent flying was exactly where Zhu Yi was. Zhu Yi, kill Mo Qingyun. When he saw Mo Qingyun flying toward Zhu Yi, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak immediately ordered Zhu Yi with a grave expression. Hearing Golden Transformation Peak's words, Zhu Yi showed some hesitation as he considered whether to make a move against Mo Qingyun. When he saw Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength just now, he was already worried in his heart. If he continued to oppose Mo Qingyun, would he fall into a situation of eternal damnation? Mo Qingyun, go to hell. After struggling for a while, Zhu Yi finally made up his mind and raised his sword toward Mo Qingyun. Presumably, in his opinion, this was the best opportunity to kill Mo Qingyun, and it would be a pity if he missed it. Zhu Ye's sword slashed down, and a golden sword light bloomed on the sword. Its power was comparable to an all-out attack of an immortal fog stage expert. Seeing Zhu Ye's attack, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately turned gloomy, and he shouted coldly, "Zhu Yi, you're courting death. Mo, kill him." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished his words, he moved Mo out of the Five Directions Pagoda to help him kill Zhu Yi. Soon, a three-eyed youth in a black robe appeared beside Mo Qingyun. As soon as the black-robed, three-eyed young man appeared, he formed a strange hand seal and pointed it at his forehead. Then, the spiritual eye between the eyebrows of the three-eyed youth shone brightly and released a dazzling light. The attack speed of the light was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it hit Zhu Ye's head and destroyed his sea of consciousness. Pucci. Zhu Ye's sea of consciousness was instantly destroyed. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura rapidly weakened. He was instantly killed by Mo. Sing Mo suddenly appear and instantly kill Zhu Yi. The surrounding people all revealed shocked expressions. They were quite shocked by the scene before them. Doppelganger. A clone with the bloodline of the three-eyed demon race. This black-clothed youth actually has the bloodline of the primordial god tribe. Who exactly is Mo Qingyun? Why does he have such a person by his side? At this moment, Yun Xing and the rest were extremely curious about Mo Qingyun's identity. Mo Qingyun, you actually colluded with the god race. So you're a spy sent by the god race. Seeing Mo Qingyun beside him, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's expression sank. He directly put a big hat on Mo Qingyun. Hearing the 100 Transformations Devil Child's words, the way everyone looked at Mo Qingyun changed drastically. Then, Wang Wenhui and the rest started to talk and speculate about Mo Qingyun's origin. Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold when he heard the 100 Transformations Devil Child's words. He stared at the 100 Transformations Devil Child and said, "100 Transformations Devil Child, I didn't expect you to fall to the point where you only know how to slander others. I'm really disappointed in you." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he wielded the immortal immolating battle halberd and charged toward the versatile demon son. Seeing Mo Qingyun charging towards him, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's expression changed drastically. His face turned pale. His current strength was merely at the early stage immortal fog realm. He saw with his own eyes just now that Mo Qingyun killing the early stage immortal fog realm iron earthworm race was no different from chopping vegetables. This way, he would not have any ability to resist Mo Qingyun's overbearing attacks. He did not expect that in a short few months, the gap in strength between him and Mo Qingyun had already reached such an extent. "Brother Golden Peak, save me." Seeing Mo Qingyun closing in on him, the 100 Transformations Devil Child revealed a panicked expression and hurriedly asked the 100 Transformations Golden Peak for help. After the 100 Transformations Devil Child asked for help, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Yun Xing did not hesitate and immediately charged towards Mo Qingyun. Falling Star / Golden Gung Raging Flame / When the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Falling Star attacked Mo Qingyun, the two of them didn't stay idle either. They both slashed at Mo Qingyun. In an instant, numerous saber lights descended from the sky above Mo Qingyun like falling stars. When these star-like saber lights bombarded downwards, flaming saber lights wrapped in golden light also burst out from the 100 Transformations Golden Peak saber. Seeing the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Yun Xing's attacks, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's expression relaxed a lot, feeling that his crisis had been resolved. He believed that Mo Qingyun would definitely block the attacks of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Yun Xing and give up on killing him. However, before the 100 Transformations Devil Child could relax, his expression began to twitch as intense fear appeared in his eyes. This was because he realized that Mo Qingyun actually did not dodge the attacks of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Yun Xing. Instead, he continued to attack him in a life-or-death manner. You lunatic! Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's face was filled with fear as he uttered these words in a panic. While the 100 Transformations Devil Child's face was filled with fear, he also hurriedly made his move in an attempt to block Mo Qingyun's attack. However, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's defense was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot, as it was instantly defeated by Mo Qingyun's attack. After the immortal, immolating battle halberd destroyed the 100 Transformations Devil Child's attack, its attack speed did not decrease as it continued to bombard the 100 Transformations Devil Child. Soon, the immortal, immolating battle halberd pierced through the 100 Transformations Devil Child's chest and body. Now, the 100 Transformations Devil Child was like a grilled fish stuck on a steel fork as he was being burned by the flames of the immortal, immolating battle halberd. When the flames on the immortal, immolating battle halberd burned the 100 Transformations Devil Child's body, his soul escaped from his body. After the 100 Transformations Devil Child's soul escaped from his body, he revealed a terrified expression as he tried to escape in the direction of the 100 Transformations Devil Child. This time, I won't let you escape. Seeing the actions of the 100 Transformations Devil Child soul, Mo Qingyun said coldly as he instructed Mo to attack the 100 Transformations Devil Child soul. A black ray of I-Force flashed as it tyrannically struck the 100 Transformations Devil Child soul. After receiving the attack of Mo's I-Force, the 100 Transformations Devil Child's soul started to dissipate bit by bit. No, I can't accept this. As the 100 Transformations Devil Child soul dissipated, he screamed at the top of his lungs. His expression was filled with unwillingness, regret, and fear. Chapter 1238. Bang! While Mo Qingyun was killing the Devil Son of 100 Transformations, Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing's attacks landed on him one after another. Mo Qingyun was immediately sent flying by the attacks of Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing, crashing into the dense forest at the side. When Mo Qingyun was sent flying, Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing did not stop attacking. They continued to pursue Mo Qingyun. Sealed door. Seeing that Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing were chasing after him, Mo Qingyun did not wait for his death. He quickly cast Sealed Door on Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing. Then, too many light doors quickly condensed in front of Mo Qingyun and blasted towards Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing. Because Mo Qingyun's attack was too sudden, the sealing gate blasted into their bodies before the 100 Transformations Golden Peak duo could react. Then, the aura of Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing began to weaken rapidly. After realizing this, Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing's expressions changed drastically. There was a look of horror in their eyes. None of them had expected that Mo Qingyun would actually have such a method to seal other people's cultivation. Blood Qi Rampage. Fight to the end. While Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yun Xing were still in shock, Mo Qingyun stabilized his body and cast two powerful strengthening techniques in succession. Under the support of Blood Qi Rampage and Fight to the End, The aura emanating from Mo Qingyun's body quickly reached the peak of 5th level celestial being stage. Peak of 5th level celestial being stage. Golden Peak of 100 Transformations and Yunxing were shocked when they sensed Mo Qingyun's aura. They were even more wary of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun, who was only at 4th level celestial being stage, was already very difficult to deal with. Now that Mo Qingyun's cultivation had risen to the peak of 5th level celestial being stage, it would be even more difficult for them to deal with Mo Qingyun. Golden Snake Flashing Halberd. Mo Qingyun didn't pay attention to the duo's fear. He swung the Immortal Immolation Battle Halberd at the 100 Transformations Golden Peak. Instantly, the Immortal Burning Halberd shone with golden light, enveloping Mo Qingyun and the halberd. Enveloped by this golden light, Mo Qingyun and the Immortal Immolating Halberd immediately disappeared from Yunxing and Luo Xing's line of sight. Mo Qingyun disappeared? Seeing Mo Qingyun's figure disappear, Golden Mountain of 100 Transformations and Yunxing were stunned. They were shocked by the scene before them. If they couldn't see Mo Qingyun, how were they going to deal with Mo Qingyun? At this moment, while the 100 Transformations Golden Peak was still in a daze, a terrifying aura suddenly enveloped him. Sensing this terrifying aura, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's expression instinctively trembled, and he quickly retreated. Although the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's reaction was fast enough, Mo Qingyun's attack speed was even faster. Just as the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's body leaned slightly to the side, the Immortal Immolation Battle Halberd had already hit him and smashed his shoulder domineeringly. Crack! Under the domineering bombardment of the Immortal Immolation Battle Halberd, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's shoulder was cut off like a piece of paper. When the Immortal Immolation Battle Halberd cut off the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's arm, a terrifying flame energy emerged from it and blasted the 100 Transformations Golden Peak away. My arm! The 100 Transformations Golden Peak immediately screamed as his arm was cut off by the Immortal Immolation Battle Halberd. His face was extremely pale. Seeing the miserable state the 100 Transformations Golden Peak was in, Yunxing immediately revealed a panicked expression. He was extremely wary of Mo Qingyun in his heart. Even with the 4 of them working together, Mo Qingyun still managed to kill 2 of them and cripple 1 of them in the blink of an eye. Such terrifying combat strength was no longer something he could deal with. With my strength alone, I'm afraid I won't be able to deal with Mo Qingyun. After witnessing Mo Qingyun's strength, Yunxing quickly recognized the situation. He knew that he was no match for Mo Qingyun. After understanding this, Yunxing did not continue to stay. He immediately turned around and fled into the distance. Seeing Yunxing's actions, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's expression twitched. He revealed a strong sense of panic as he shouted, "Senior brother Yunxing, don't leave me behind." The 100 Transformations Golden Peak was now afraid. Even with the 4 of them working together, they did not pose a threat to Mo Qingyun. Now, he was the only one left. Moreover, he had lost an arm. How could he be a match for Mo Qingyun? In this way, if Mo Qingyun wanted to kill him, wouldn't he be dead for sure? Seeing the fate of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak and Yunxing, Wang Wenhui and the others who were at the side trembled with a strong sense of lingering fear in their hearts. Fortunately, they did not make a move against Mo Qingyun. Otherwise, they would be dead for sure. They all knew that Mo Qingyun was very strong, but for Mo Qingyun to be strong to such an extent, it truly exceeded their expectations. Senior brother Mo is too strong. Senior brother Yunxing and the others are not a match for him, even when they work together. With the strength that senior brother Mo has displayed, I'm afraid he's comparable to the top 10 of the Ethereal Immortal Manners assessment. Even if he's not in the top 10, he's definitely in the top 15. Senior brother Mo is too low-key. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's image in the hearts of Wang Wenhui and the others suddenly became much higher. While everyone was looking at Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun held the immortal burning battle halberd and charged towards the 100 Transformations Golden Peak again. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and arrived in front of the 100 Transformations Golden Peak in the blink of an eye. He slashed his halberd at the 100 Transformations Golden Peak domineeringly. Senior brother Mo, I was wrong. Please spare me this one time. The 100 Transformations Golden Peak panicked when he saw Mo Qingyun attacking him. He hurriedly begged Mo Qingyun. Of course, while the 100 Transformations Golden Peak was begging for mercy, he didn't forget to block Mo Qingyun's halberd. Under the 100 Transformations Golden Peak's wave, the blazing saber in his hand immediately released a dazzling saber radiance. The dazzling saber radiance blasted towards the immortal burning battle halberd, temporarily blocking it. After blocking Mo Qingyun's halberd, the 100 Transformations Golden Peak didn't dare to hesitate. He quickly turned around and fled into the distance. 100 Transformations Golden Peak, you can't escape. Be a good boy and accompany the 100 Transformations Devil Child. Looking at the fleeing 100 Transformations Golden Peak, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and his body emitted a strong killing intent. Then, Mo Qingyun took a step forward and chased after the 100 Transformations Golden Peak. However, just as Mo Qingyun was chasing after the 100 Transformations Golden Peak, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly shrouded the area around them. This was the aura of a true immortal expert. Sensing this terrifying aura, Mo Qingyun and the others' expressions changed drastically. A sense of reverence rose in their hearts. A powerful being of the true immortal state was definitely not someone that they could deal with. This aura of a true immortal expert doesn't belong to Senior Xiang Xie or Senior Niu Sheng. Could it be? Mo Qingyun was very familiar with the aura of Niu Sheng and Xiang Xie. He could immediately identify it. Currently, there were only 3 true immortal experts around the Iron Chimera tribe: Xiang Xie, Niu Sheng, and the Cerberus. Chapter 1239. The Teleportation Gate. After learning the identity of this true immortal expert, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it and immediately used a transportation gate to escape. Although his physical body was strong and he could fight opponents several levels higher than him, he could only be killed by the 3-headed hellhound with the cultivation of a true immortal. Mo Qingyun lifted his foot and stepped into the teleportation gate. His figure immediately disappeared from where he stood. After a while, Mo Qingyun came to a spacious forest and got rid of the 3-headed hellhound's aura. After coming to this open space, Mo Qingyun did not rush to explore the surroundings. Instead, he sat down cross-legged and adjusted his breathing. After several hours, Mo Qingyun came out of his meditation and recovered to his peak state. After looking around, Mo Qingyun chose to go east, which was the direction of the Iron Earthworm tribe. His mission in coming to the Iron Earthworm tribe was to hunt down the members of the Iron Earthworm tribe, so he couldn't relax. After all, the first place of this mission would be rewarded with an eternal longevity elixir. As Mo Qingyun kept going east, groups of iron earthworms began to appear in his sight. Mo Qingyun would not let go of these iron earthworms who were alone. He killed them one by one and used the qi and blood cauldron to collect their qi and blood. In addition, after collecting the qi and blood of these iron earthworms, Mo Qingyun used the soul summoning gate on their corpses. Soon after, the armored shadow of earthworms appeared beside Mo Qingyun. With the help of these shadow of iron earthworms, Mo Qingyun's speed of killing iron earthworms was greatly improved. One day later, the number of iron earthworms following Mo Qingyun had reached the level of more than 10,000. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was moving forward with the shadow of iron earthworms, a streamer came to him at an extremely fast speed. "Greetings, Senior Xiang Xie." When Mo Qingyun saw the identity of this streak of light, he revealed a respectful expression and cupped his hands towards the other party. "Huh? Is this the ghost of the Iron Earthworm clan?" Looking at the tens of thousands of Iron Mantis ghosts behind Mo Qingyun, Xiang Xie was surprised by Mo Qingyun's performance. He smiled and said, I didn't expect you to be proficient in Soul Dao spells. I underestimated you. After praising Mo Qingyun, Xiangxie's expression turned serious as he said, Qingyun, I want to tell you something. The Iron Earthworm race's Cerberus has escaped. He's escaping towards the west. Try not to forget that direction. It really is the Cerberus. Hearing Xiangxie's explanation, Mo Qingyun's heart trembled slightly. His previous guess had been answered. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before nodding to Xiangxie. Thank you for your reminder, Senior. I understand. Seeing that Mo Qingyun realized the seriousness of the matter, Xiangxie nodded with satisfaction. He said a few more words to Mo Qingyun before leaving. After parting ways with Xiangxie, Mo Qingyun continued to head towards the Iron Earthworm tribe to hunt down the remaining Iron Earthworms. With Mo Qingyun's current lineup, there was no need to hide anymore if he wanted to hunt down the Iron Earthworms. Roar. A few hours later, a roar that shook the heavens and earth suddenly came from the ground below Mo Qingyun. Hearing this deafening roar, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. A sense of uneasiness arose in his heart. Damn it, it's the Cerberus. Transmission gate. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun didn't have time to think and immediately used the transmission gate to escape. Then, Mo Qingyun abandoned the tens of thousands of iron earthworms and escaped through the transmission gate. However, what Mo Qingyun didn't expect was that the Cerberus actually caught up with him after he used the transmission gate to escape. Then, Mo Qingyun saw the appearance of the Cerberus. It was a person with 3 dog heads. A boy at the 4th level of the Celestial Being stage has actually killed over 10,000 iron earthworms. How amazing! Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of him, the true Celestial Stage expert of the Cerberus tribe praised him. Boy, I'm a Martial Star Lord of the Cerberus tribe. Now, I'll give you a chance. If you're willing to be my puppet and go to the Eternal South Immortal Palace on behalf of the Cerberus tribe, I'll spare your life. Hearing the Martial Star Lord's words, Mo Qingyun quickly thought about how to resolve the crisis in front of him. With Mo Qingyun's current cultivation, it was obviously impossible to fight the Martial Star Lord head-on. However, using a teleportation gate to escape might not work either. As such, Mo Qingyun only had 3 choices. He could either submit to the Martial Star Lord, ask the God Shooter Bao for help, or stall for time until Xiangxie and the Martial Star Lord arrived. Previously, when Mo Qingyun was dealing with Tiger Soul, he had already asked the God Shooter Bao for help once. If he asked the God Shooter Bao for help again, he would have to ask the God Shooter Bao for help again. Boy, have you thought it through? There's a limit to my patience. Seeing that Mo Qingyun hadn't replied for a long time, the Martial Star Lord showed an impatient expression and urged Mo Qingyun. In the Martial Star Lord's opinion, Mo Qingyun's current behavior was suspected to be stalling for time. It could even be said that Mo Qingyun was now asking for help from the Eternal South Immortal Palace's experts to deal with him. Seeing Martial Star Lord's impatient expression, Mo Qingyun made a decision. He planned to ask the God Shooter Bao for help. Based on the current situation, stalling for time until Xiangxie and the Martial Star Lord arrived was probably wishful thinking. However, Mo Qingyun was still a little reluctant to ask the God Shooter Bao for help immediately. He wondered if he could scare the Martial Star Lord away. So he said, I'll give you a chance now. If you leave now, I can pretend that I never saw you. Otherwise, you might never be able to leave. There was no other way. The opportunity to ask the God Shooter Bao for help was too precious. It could be said that the God Shooter Bao's 3 promises were equivalent to Mo Qingyun having 3 extra lives. Using one was equivalent to having 1 less life. Unless there was no other choice, Mo Qingyun wouldn't waste his life for no reason. Boy, do you think I'm a coward? You're just a 4th level sky human stage boy. How dare you threaten me? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Martial Star Lord immediately showed a look of disdain and said disdainfully to Mo Qingyun, Sigh. Seeing the Martial Star Lord's actions, Mo Qingyun sighed and shook his head helplessly. Looking at Mo Qingyun's current actions, it was unknown whether he was vexed by the failure of his threat or regretful that he had to use the God Shooter Bow once. Chapter 1240. A Bow. Seeing the God Shooter Bow in Mo Qingyun's hand, the martial Star Lord was taken aback. He then mocked, "Kid, do you think you can stop me with a broken bow?" A kid who hasn't even obtained a star position dares to call himself a Star Lord in front of me? How shameless. The God Shooter Bow immediately mocked the martial Star Lord when he heard his self-righteous words. His tone was filled with disdain. Then, the God Shooter Bow's bowstring emitted a bright golden light. After the golden light appeared, a terrifying aura was emitted from the God Shooter Bow. The aura of a golden immortal expert. Sensing the aura from the God Shooter Bow, the martial Star Lord was horrified. His face turned pale. A super expert of the golden immortal level was not someone he could contend against. Furthermore, what the God Shooter Bow had said was true as well. He had not even obtained a star position, and his cultivation had only just entered the true immortal realm. The true immortal realm also had 4 minor realms, namely the accumulated star position, the minor star position, the great star position, and the constellation position. Under normal circumstances, only true immortal experts who had obtained the constellation position were qualified to be called Star Lords. The martial Star Lord before him was only in the accumulated star position, yet he claimed to be a Star Lord. He was really boasting. Just as the martial Star Lord was horrified, a golden arrow was shot from the God Shooter Bow. It shot toward the martial Star Lord domineeringly. "Say, Senior, please spare my life." Seeing the golden arrow shooting at him, the horror on the martial Star Venerate's face immediately became even more intense. The God Shooter Bow chose to ignore the martial Star Lord's pleas and did not seem to slow down its attack. Poochie! The golden arrow flashed and pierced through the martial Star Lord's head, killing him instantly. After being hit by the God Shooter Bow's powerful arrow, the martial Star Lord's soul was instantly destroyed. Not even a trace of his soul was left. After killing the martial Star Lord, the God Shooter Bow did not stay any longer. It turned into a golden light and entered the 5-directional pagoda. What a pity! Seeing that the martial Star Lord's soul had been destroyed, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of pity and took out the qi and blood cauldron. Then, the martial Star Lord's qi and blood were absorbed by the qi and blood cauldron. After collecting the martial Star Lord's qi and blood, Mo Qingyun tossed the corpse into the 5-directional pagoda for Mo Zai to deal with. The martial Star Lord was a true immortal. His corpse contained a huge amount of energy. It would be a pity to give it up. Mo Zai could refine the flesh and blood of others to increase her cultivation. If he refined the corpse of the martial Star Lord, his cultivation would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. After everything was done, Mo Qingyun looked around before rushing toward the Iron Talon tribe. Now that the threat of the martial Star Lord was gone, Mo Qingyun had nothing to worry about as he proceeded forward. Although there were still a few people in the peak of the immortal fog stage in the Iron Talon tribe, they could not stop Mo Qingyun. In the following days, Mo Qingyun hunted the iron earthworms as he rushed towards the Iron Talon tribe. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. It's time for training. Everyone, gather at the Iron Talon tribe immediately. At this moment, a huge illusory figure suddenly appeared in the sky above the Iron Talon tribe. Seeing the illusory figure in the sky above the Iron Talon tribe, Mo Qingyun quickened his pace and no longer hunted the ordinary iron earthworms. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Iron Talon tribe. He walked into the queue and waited for Niu Sheng and Mo Zai's instructions. When everyone gathered and lined up, Mo Qingyun realized that the number of disciples on the training trip seemed to have decreased significantly. It seemed that they had died in the hands of the iron earthworms in the process of hunting. Let me tell you a piece of shocking news. In this training trip, a total of 124 disciples died here. Looking at Mo Qingyun and the others in front of him, Niu Sheng said, Since the untainted land, the war between the deity clan and the immortal clan has never stopped. Casualties like this training trip happen every day. If you don't want to die in the hands of the deity clan, you have to seize the time to improve your cultivation so that you can protect yourself in the wasteland continent. Hearing Niu Sheng's words, Mo Qingyun and the others fell silent. They understood what Niu Sheng meant. Seeing that everyone was silent, Niu Sheng did not say anything more. He turned around and walked out of the Iron Talon tribe, saying, "Since the training trip is over, follow me back to the Immortal Palace." After Niu Sheng's words, he led Mo Qingyun and the others back to the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Mo Qingyun and the others had a heavy heart because more than 100 of their fellow disciples had died in just a few days. On the way back to the Eternal South Immortal Palace, everyone chose to remain silent and did not talk much with each other. They were all worried that they would end up like this in the next training mission. "I can't believe you're still alive." On the way back to the Eternal South Immortal Palace, Missouri Qingyun saw the one-armed golden-faced mountain and smiled mockingly at him. Seeing Mo Qingyun smile, Golden-Faced Mountain's expression trembled instinctively. He said with a frightened expression, "Mo Qingyun, don't be too proud. You've offended senior brother Yuan Xie. He won't let you go." Yuan Xie? Hearing Golden-Faced Mountain's words, Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly and looked at Yuan Xie in front of him. Sensing Mo Qingyun's gaze, Yuan Xie's expression turned cold. He turned his head and looked at Mo Qingyun. Then, Mo Qingyun and Yuan Xie confronted each other. Their gazes were filled with the smell of gunpowder. After confronting Mo Qingyun for a while, Yuan Xie smiled and made a beheading gesture. Then, Yuan Xie turned his head and ignored Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yuan Xie's reaction, Golden-Faced Mountain sneered and gloated. "Mo Qingyun, I admit that I've underestimated you and suffered a great loss at your hands. However, you're still too inexperienced to challenge senior brother Yuan Xie." Mo Qingyun ignored Golden-Faced Mountain's words and replied indifferently, "Don't worry. Although I can't take care of Yuan Xie now, I can still take care of you." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Golden-Faced Mountain's expression changed again. He stopped talking to Mo Qingyun. A few days later, Mo Qingyun and the rest returned to the Eternal South Immortal Palace at full speed. After returning to the Eternal South Immortal Palace, Niu Sheng and Xiang Xie stopped in their tracks and instructed Mo Qingyun and the others. "All of you, follow me to the chore hall now. Next, we will calculate the vitality you have collected." Chapter 1241. The Chore Palace was located in the East Palace of the Eternal South Immortal Palace, not far from the Misty Immortal Mansion. After a short while, under the guidance of Niu Sheng and Yuan Wei, they arrived at the Chore Palace. In the Chore Palace, Missouri Qingyun saw a blood-red stone table, which was emitting a strange power. While Mo Qingyun was looking at the stone table, Niu Wei pointed at it with a serious face and said, "This is a low-grade sacred tool, the blood testing stone. Put your blood qi cauldron on it, and it will calculate the amount of blood and qi contained in your cauldron." After introducing the stone, Niu Sheng looked at Jizhua seriously and said, "Jizhua, put your blood qi cauldron on the blood testing stone and check the amount of blood and qi in your cauldron." "Yes." Jizhua nodded, walked to the blood testing stone, and put his blood qi cauldron on it. When the blood qi cauldron was put on the blood testing stone, the blood testing stone glowed brightly and formed a huge blood-red ball. After this huge blood-red ball was formed, the blood and qi in the blood qi cauldron flew out and formed a blood-red shadow in the ball. These shadows were the faces of the iron earthworms before they were killed. After a while, when all the blood and qi in the blood qi cauldron flew out, some words appeared on the blood testing stone. These words recorded Jizhua's hunting results. Late stage immortal do iron earthworm blood qi 3. Middle stage immortal do iron earthworm blood qi 7. Soon, the number of iron earthworm blood qi cauldron was recorded by everyone. After reading Jijua's record, everyone was shocked, and they were even more in awe of Jijua. In just a few days, Jijua had killed nearly 1,000 iron earthworm blood chi cauldron. After Jijua's record was recorded, it was Qian Guangxuan's turn to calculate the test results. At last, Qian Guangxuan's result was slightly worse than Jijua's. But, generally speaking, the difference between the two was not big. Only the number of iron earthworm blood chi cauldron was different. Seeing Qian Guangxuan's result, Yuan Xie sneered complacently and walked quickly to the blood testing stone. Yuan Xie took out his qi and blood cauldron and placed it on the primeval blood testing stone. Not long after, qi and blood flew out of the qi and blood cauldron and transformed into a blood-red shadow in the blood-red sphere. After the shadow appeared, Yuan Xie's test results also came out. To everyone's surprise, Yuan Xie's result was even better than Qian Guangxuan's, between Qian Guangxuan and Jijua's. More importantly, Yuan Xie hunted the strongest iron earthworm clan, who was at the peak of the immortal dew stage. Senior brother Yuan Xie is so powerful, he even killed a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage. In the iron earthworm tribe, only the great elder of the iron earthworm tribe has reached the peak of immortal dew. Could it be that senior brother Yuan Xie killed him? If that's the case, senior brother Yuan Xie is so powerful. I'm afraid he will surpass senior brother Jijua in the future. After seeing Yuan Xie's results, everyone had a shocked expression on their faces. They admired Yuan Xie to the extreme. After seeing Yuan Xie's result, Qian Guangxuan frowned and said with a doubtful expression, Senior Xiang Xie, Senior Niu Shang, I think Yuan Xie's result is fake. With his cultivation at the middle stage of the immortal dew stage, it is impossible for him to kill a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage. Qian Guangxuan, is that all you can do? You have to question others' results after losing? Yuan Xie sneered at Qian Guangxuan's doubtful words and said, What you said is true. I can't kill a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage. But what about a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage who is seriously injured? Hearing Yuan Xie's words, Qian Guangxuan was speechless and didn't know how to refute Yuan Xie. If what Yuan Xie said was true, there was nothing to doubt that he could kill a powerhouse at the peak of the immortal dew stage. Seeing Yuan Xie and Qian Guangxuan arguing, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and muttered to himself, If that's the case, then there's a reasonable explanation for me killing the martial star lord of the true immortal realm. Originally, Mo Qingyun was still thinking about how to explain to everyone if they doubted his ability to kill a powerhouse of the true immortal realm. Now, Yuan Xie's behavior gave him an inspiration, and he knew how to respond to everyone. The following people's results didn't surpass Qian Guangxuan and the other two, and there was a gap between them. About 2 hours later, it was finally Mo Qingyun's turn to count the results. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun walked towards the primordial blood testing stone and quickly walked in front of it. Seeing Mo Qingyun walking to the untainted blood testing stone, Yuan Xie, Yun Xing, and 100 Changes Golden Peak immediately became serious. They all wanted to know how Mo Qingyun's results were. Then, under everyone's gaze, Mo Qingyun put the blood and qi cauldron on the untainted blood testing stone. Then blood and qi flew out of the blood and qi cauldron and turned into a blood shadow in the blood ball. After a while, when everyone saw Mo Qingyun's results, they were all stunned. More than 30,000. The number of iron earthworms killed by Mo Qingyun had reached a terrifying number. Such a number seemed to be equivalent to the total number of Jijua's 20 people, which was really abnormal. However, before everyone could recover from the shock, they were even more shocked. True immortal realm. The blood and qi in Mo Qingyun's blood and qi cauldron belonged to a powerhouse at the true immortal realm. Looking at the blood and qi cauldron, everyone could tell that it was the three-headed hellhound of the iron earthworm tribe. The three-headed hellhound of the iron earthworm tribe was killed by Mo Qingyun. When everyone received such a result, they felt their heads buzzing and their brains were not enough to comprehend it. A person with a cultivation base at the 4th level of the sky, human realm, had killed the 3-headed hellhound of the true immortal realm. Was there anything more ridiculous than this? Seeing this scene, Xiang Xie and Niu Sheng could not help but look at each other and see the strong shock in each other's eyes. The two of them were very clear about the strength of the 3-headed hellhound. Although the 3-headed hellhound's cultivation base was still at the profound star level, its strength was comparable to a minor star level powerhouse. However, such a powerful existence was killed by Mo Qingyun. Xiang Xie and Niu Sheng found it hard to believe. Cheating. Mo Qingyun must have cheated. With his cultivation base at the 4th level of the sky human realm, how could he kill a true immortal realm powerhouse? After a short moment of being stunned, Yuan Xie showed a shocked expression and expressed his doubts about Mo Qingyun's achievement. Seeing Yuan Xie's reaction, everyone showed a look of disdain for him in their hearts. Yuan Shun killed an Iron Earthworm tribe member at the peak of the Immortal Dew stage, which was his own strength. Mo Qingyun killed the 3-headed hellhound of the true immortal realm, which was cheating. Chapter 1242. Mo Qingyun had already expected Yuan Xie's questioning action, so he wasn't surprised at all. Senior brother Yuan Xie, that's not right. Are you the only one allowed to be lucky? Mo Qingyun replied indifferently when he saw Yuan Xie's displeased expression. He scanned the crowd and said, after the Cerberus was severely injured, I happened to bump into him. I just poked him lightly, and he died. When Mo Qingyun said this, he extended his index finger and made a gentle poking motion. Everyone looked bitter when they saw Mo Qingyun's action. They sighed in their hearts that Mo Qingyun was too pretentious. The Cerberus was a true immortal realm expert. No matter how serious his injuries were, he was not someone who could be killed with a gentle poke. Although everyone was depressed, they did not say anything. After all, they did not have any evidence to prove that the Cerberus was not killed by Mo Qingyun. Therefore, other than being envious of the fact that Mo Qingyun had killed the Cerberus, everyone could only feel envy. Yuan Xie was furious when he heard Mo Qingyun's quibble. He could tell that Mo Qingyun was mocking him. More importantly, while Mo Qingyun was mocking him, he was also using him as a reason to defend himself. This kind of action was really too ruthless. It was simply not leaving him any way out. Before Yuan Xie could refute, Qian Guangxuan smiled and walked up to Yuan Xie. He said sarcastically, Junior brother Yuan Xie, are you such a sore loser? Seeing that your ranking has been surpassed by junior brother Mo, you immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation? Slap. After Qian Guangxuan said this, everyone seemed to hear a crisp slap on Yuan Xie's face. Yuan Xie had just humiliated Qian Guangxuan with these words. Now that Qian Guangxuan was using the same method to retaliate, it was a slap to his face. Yuan Xie was speechless when he heard Qian Guangxuan's words. He did not know how to refute. He had no choice. After all, he was the one who had said those words. As the saying went, if you asked for a date, you had to finish it even if you had to hold back your tears. After slapping Yuan Xie's face hard, Qian Guangxuan smiled contentedly and turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Qian Guangxuan looked at Mo Qingyun with gratitude and nodded politely at Mo Qingyun. Looking at Qian Guangxuan's actions, he seemed to have developed a good impression of Mo Qingyun because he had mocked Yuan Xie. Seeing Qian Guangxuan's friendly gaze, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and nodded politely in response. At this moment, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan felt like they were drinking with bosom friends. Seeing Qian Guangxuan speak up for Mo Qingyun, the others naturally didn't dare to speak. They did not want to offend Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan because of this. Everyone was clearly aware that if Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan joined hands, Jizhua would be the only one who could suppress both of them. Since Jizhua did not express his opinion, they would be looking for trouble if they did. Seeing that no one was speaking, Niusheng smiled faintly and glanced at Mo Qingyun. Then he said to the crowd in a clear voice, since no one has any doubts, then Mo Qingyun's killing of the true immortal stage Cerberus is considered a valid achievement. Mo Qingyun was in first place. Everyone was shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun's result. They looked at Mo Qingyun in a different light. He had never thought that the first place of this exam would not be Jizhua, nor Qian Guangxuan, nor Yuan Xie, or any of the others. It was Mo Qingyun, who was ranked 23rd in the Ethereal Immortal Mansions test. This result was out of everyone's expectations. Jizhua frowned when he saw that his ranking had been surpassed. He began to look at Mo Qingyun seriously. Looking at Mo Qingyun from head to toe, Jizhua showed an admiring look and said, "I thought it would take you a while to compete with me, but it seems that I have underestimated you. Now, you're already qualified to compete with me. Thank you for the compliment." Hearing Jizhua's words, Mo Qingyun responded with a faint smile, then continued, "I hope the competition between you and me won't be as boring as the one between me and someone else, who only knows how to play some dirty tricks." After Mo Qingyun said this, Yuan Xie's face twitched and darkened. Naturally, he could tell that the person Mo Qingyun was referring to was him. Qian Guangxuan laughed out loud when he heard Mo Qingyun's sarcastic words. He patted Mo Qingyun's shoulder and said, "Brother Mo, don't worry. Brother Jizhua is an honest and upright man. He is not someone who could be compared with some random people. Winning with dirty tricks is nothing but a useless thing to do. Jizhua, don't care about it." Jizhua looked serious when he heard Qian Guangxuan's words. He threw a disdainful glance at Yuan Xie. Seeing Jizhua, Qian Guangxuan, and Mo Qingyun's actions, the others looked at Yuan Xie with sympathy in their eyes. Yuan Xie was so unlucky. He had offended Mo Qingyun and the other two. He would have a hard time in the future. Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan, Jizhua, just you wait. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the other two's actions, Yuan Xie felt insulted. He gnashed his teeth in anger. However, he knew that the current situation was not in his favor. Therefore, he didn't argue with Mo Qingyun and the other two. Seeing that Yuan Xie didn't say anything else, they started to count the others' results. 2 days later, everyone's results were tabulated. In the end, Mo Qingyun won the first place and got the Eternal Longevity Immortal Pill. After Mo Qingyun got the Eternal Longevity Immortal Pill, the others also got the corresponding rewards. They were all grinning from ear to ear. After getting the rewards, they didn't stay in the chore hall and went back to their own residences. Brother Mo, let's compete again in the Misty Immortal Palace's test next month. After leaving the chore hall, Qian Guangxuan smiled faintly at Mo Qingyun and told him his thoughts. When Qian Guangxuan said this, Jizhua showed the same expression. He had the same thoughts as Qian Guangxuan. Hearing Qian Guangxuan's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied, "In that case, Brother Qian, you have to work hard. Don't let me surpass you again." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Jizhua rolled his eyes and said to Qian Guangxuan with a faint smile, "Brother Qian, Brother Mo got the Eternal Longevity Immortal Pill. After refining it, he can increase his cultivation by 100 years. By then, his strength will definitely improve greatly. You can't underestimate him." Hearing this, Qian Guangxuan was stunned and felt a wave of pressure. Chapter 1243. After parting ways with Jizhua and Chu Yunyun, Mo Qingyun returned to Qingyun's residence with Chu Yunyun and Chu Yunyun. After returning to Qingyun's residence, Mo Qingyun did not waste any time and directly entered the 5-directional pagoda. In this training mission, not only did he kill the versatile demon child and cripple one of the versatile Golden Peak's arms, but his relationship with Yuan Xie had also worsened. This made his situation in the Eternal South Immortal Palace even more dangerous than before. He had to increase his cultivation as soon as possible. After entering the 5-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun took out the Eternal Longevity Elixir and swallowed it without hesitation. After swallowing the Eternal Longevity Elixir, Mo Qingyun felt a shocking medicinal power overflow from the elixir. Sensing the medicinal power escaping from his body, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to hesitate in the slightest. He hurriedly refined and absorbed it. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement and absorption, the spiritual power in his body grew at a terrifying speed. Then, the aura emitted from Mo Qingyun's body also grew rapidly. The peak of the early fourth level of the celestial realm, the middle fourth level of the celestial realm, in the blink of an eye, 25 days had passed. At this moment, the aura emitted from Mo Qingyun's body finally reached a peak. The peak of the fourth level of the celestial realm. Sensing his current cultivation, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious as he prepared to break through to the fifth level of the celestial realm. As Mo Qingyun tried to break through to the fifth level of the celestial realm, his eyes slowly turned blood red and his body emitted a monstrous demonic aura. At the same time, a black figure emitting demonic aura suddenly appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind. Don't suppress yourself anymore. Kill to your heart's content. You have the blood of the demon clan in your body. Why don't you fall into the demonic path forever and become a peerless demon god in the future? If you stay in the celestial realm, once your secret is discovered, you will definitely be hunted down by the celestial realm. The one you love is also of the celestial realm. If you want to be with her, you have to completely break away from the celestial realm. Quickly fall into the demonic path. For a moment, bewitching voices appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind. This was Mo Qingyun's inner demon, an obsession that had always existed in his heart. He had always been worried that if he met Long Hanyan one day, what identity should he use to treat Long Hanyan? Were they from the immortal race? With Long Hanyan's identity as a member of the god race, the people behind her might not be able to tolerate Mo Qingyun. His identity as a god. Mo Qingyun might have the bloodline of the heavenly demon soul race, but he was not a true member of the heavenly soul devil race. When the time came, there would be even more trouble. Just as Mo Qingyun was hesitating, a white illusory figure suddenly appeared in his mind. The sea of bitterness is boundless. Repent, and you will see the shore. The celestial realm is benevolent. As long as you abandon the bloodline of the god race, the celestial realm will wholeheartedly accept you. Mo Qingyun, it is impossible for you and Long Hanyan to be together. Long Hanyan is just a clone. Her consciousness will be erased sooner or later. And that Murong Qingyu is the same. Don't be stubborn. Abandon the bloodline of the god race and return to the celestial realm. Bewitching voices appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind again, disturbing Mo Qingyun's mind. Hearing the two voices in his mind, Mo Qingyun raised his head and let out a loud roar. His expression was one of confusion. Celestial realm or celestial realm? Where should he go from here? With a loud roar, Mo Qingyun's expression gradually calmed down. His face became cold and indifferent. He shouted angrily, "Get out of here. I, Mo Qingyun, will decide my own life. I don't need you to interfere with me." As soon as Mo Qingyun's words fell, he released his soul power and bombarded the black and white illusory figures in his mind. Bang, bang. Receiving Mo Qingyun's overbearing bombardment, the black and white illusory figures were immediately defeated and slowly dissipated in his mind. Mo Qingyun, you will definitely regret it. The celestial realm is not your best choice. Mo Qingyun, you are stubborn. You will definitely be punished by everyone. Before the black and white illusory figures dissipated, their faces were filled with resentment as they spoke. In response to the words of the black and white illusory figures in his mind, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of disdain. He snorted coldly and said, "Heaven and earth are heartless and treat all things as straw dogs. Before the heavenly Tao, the celestial realm and the celestial realm are nothing but straw dogs that offer sacrifices to the heavenly Tao. I, Mo Qingyun, will jump out of this world and grasp my fate in my own hands." When Mo Qingyun said this, his body exuded an air of arrogance. giving people a feeling that he was unwilling to submit to heaven and earth. After defeating the black and white illusory figures in his mind, the aura emanating from Mo Qingyun's body immediately rose to a new level. Mo Qingyun's cultivation base had successfully broken through and entered the 5th level of the celestial realm. After breaking through to the 5th level of the celestial realm, Mo Qingyun did not stop cultivating. Instead, he continued to cultivate and stabilize his current cultivation base. Subsequently, time passed by unknowingly as Mo Qingyun cultivated. After another 5 days, Mo Qingyun exited from his cultivation. After these 5 days of cultivation, his cultivation base had completely stabilized. Not only that, but Mo Qingyun's cultivation base had also risen to the peak of the 5th level of the celestial realm. I didn't expect to spend an entire month just to refine half of the eternal longevity immortal pill. Recalling the time spent cultivating this time, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh. The power contained in the immortal pill was too great. One had to know that with the assistance of the time shift formation in the 5-directional small pagoda, Mo Qingyun had actually cultivated for 20 months. After sighing in his heart, Mo Qingyun did not continue cultivating. He stood up and said, "Previously, I made an agreement with Senior Brother Ji and Senior Brother Qian to compete with them in the Ethereal Immortal Palace's assessment in a month's time. It's time to head to the Ethereal Immortal Palace first." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he prepared to leave the 5-directional small pagoda and head to the Ethereal Immortal Palace. However, before Mo Qingyun left the 5-directional small pagoda, he went to check on the cultivation progress of Mo Zai and the others. After more than a month of cultivation, 1/3 of the 3-headed hellhound's corpse should have been successfully refined by Mo Zai. After refining 1/3 of the 3-headed hellhound's corpse, Mo Zai's cultivation base had risen to the peak of the 5th level of the celestial realm. She was only a step away from entering the heavenly immortal realm. Such a cultivation speed was truly terrifying. However, Mo Qingyun was secretly delighted by this situation. In this way, he would have another powerful helper when he fought against enemies in the future. After learning about Mo Zai's cultivation progress, Mo Qingyun did not stop walking. He then checked on the cultivation progress of He Xian and the others. Apart from Xie, who had just broken through to the celestial realm, He Xian, Iron Wing, and Savage Beast cultivation bases had all reached the 4th level of the celestial realm. Chapter 1244. After coming out of the 5-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun left the Qingyun residence and headed towards the ethereal immortal abode. About 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the entrance of the ethereal immortal abode and saw Ji Qiong and Qian Guangsuan in front of the crowd. When Mo Qingyun saw Ji Qiong and Qian Guangsuan, the two of them also saw Mo Qingyun and walked towards Mo Qingyun with a faint smile. "Junior brother Mo, if you didn't come, Senior Brother Ji and I would have thought that you were afraid of losing and didn't dare to come." Walking up to Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangsun revealed a bright smile as he joked with Mo Qingyun. "Because I was a little late for cultivation." Mo Qingyun gave a simple explanation to Qian Guangsuan's joke and asked curiously, "Senior Brother Ji, Senior Brother Qian, have you taken the Ethereal Immortal Abode assessment?" "Yes, we have completed the assessment." When he heard Mo Qingyun's question, Qian Guangsun nodded indifferently and said to Mo Qingyun, "Junior Brother Mo, hurry up and take the test. We still have to accompany Senior Brother Ji to the Western Immortal Palace later." "Senior Brother Ji is going to the Western Immortal Palace? Why?" Mo Qingyun was puzzled by Qian Guangsuan's words. He didn't understand the meaning of Qian Guangsuan's words. Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't understand Qian Guangsuan's words, Ji Qiong organized his words and explained to Mo Qingyun, "My cultivation has broken through to the Immortal Core stage, and I have been promoted to an inner disciple of the Immortal Palace in advance. Therefore, I have to report to the Western Immortal Palace immediately." Senior brother Ji's cultivation has broken through to the immortal core stage. After hearing Ji Qiong's words, Mo Qingyun was surprised by Ji Qiong's increase in cultivation. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and congratulated Ji Qiong. Senior brother Ji, congratulations on your advancement and promotion to an inner disciple of the Immortal Palace. I believe that it won't be long before the two of you become inner disciples. Hearing Mo Qingyun's congratulations, Ji Qiong didn't show any arrogance. He smiled faintly and said, Junior brother Mo, you go take the ethereal immortal mansion test first. When your test is over, the three of us will go to the Western Immortal Palace together. All right. Upon hearing Ji Qiong's words, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and immediately walked towards the entrance of the misty immortal abode. A short while later, when Mo Qingyun arrived at the entrance of the misty immortal abode, Yuan Xie had just walked out of the misty immortal abode. He glanced at Mo Qingyun arrogantly. Oof. Yuan Xie glanced at Mo Qingyun and snorted coldly. He lifted his head and walked out of the crowd, as if he was disdainful of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun did not pay any attention to Yuan Xie's actions. It was as if he was treating a clown. Yuan Xie's exit from the misty immortal abode meant that there was no one left for the core disciple test. Mo Qingyun could enter the test immediately. Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and walked straight into the misty immortal abode. Mo Qingyun walked into the misty immortal abode. The guardian of the first test on the first level quickly appeared in front of him. When the guardian saw Mo Qingyun, he smiled faintly and greeted Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly in response to the guard's greeting. Then, he directly attacked the guard's mental projection. In the face of Mo Qingyun's tyrannical attack, the consciousness body guarding the checkpoint hadn't even been able to withstand a single move before it had been defeated. Mo Qingyun's footsteps didn't stop as he directly entered the second stage of the first level after killing the intent body guarding the first stage. The result was still the same. Under Mo Qingyun's tyrannical attack, the mental projection guarding the second stage of the first level was also instantly killed. In the blink of an eye, several hours later, Mo Qingyun once again arrived at the fourth test on the third level. Last time he was stopped here, he was killed by the Guardian, which ended the test of the misty immortal abode. The peak of the early stage of the fifth level of the celestial being realm. I haven't seen you for a month, but your progress is amazing. Seeing Mo Qingyun arrive again, the Guardian was surprised. After saying something unexpected, he said, If that's the case, I hope you can last a little longer this time. Don't make me unable to use my full strength. Hearing the Guardian's words, Mo Qingyun's expression darkened slightly. With a solemn expression, he said, Don't worry. This time, not only will I persevere to the end, but I will also defeat you with a thunderous force. As soon as Mo Qingyun's words fell, he didn't say anything more to the Guardian and directly attacked him. Sealed door. Blood Qi rampage. Bloody fight to the end. At this moment, Mo Qingyun made a move and displayed 3 kinds of auxiliary magic skills without holding back. Under the bombardment of the Gate of Seals, the gatekeeper's mental projection was still helpless. His spirit and Qi were immediately sealed by the tyrannical power. Then, the aura emitted by the Guardian fell from the late stage of Immortal due to the middle stage of Immortal Road. As the Guardian's aura weakened, the aura emitted from Mo Qingyun's body immediately rose by a large level. Immortal Fog Stage. Under the support of the 2 magic skills, Blood Qi Rampage and Bloody Fight to the end, Mo Qingyun's cultivation was directly raised to the Immortal Fog Stage. Heavenly Flames, Skybreaking Halberd. Mo Qingyun's cultivation was raised to the Celestial Immortal Stage. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately waved the Immortal Burning Halberd and swept it towards the Guardian. Under Mo Qingyun's halberd, the Guardian was directly sent flying and heavily hit the wall of the misty immortal abode. Golden Snake Flashing Halberd. After sending the guardian flying, Mo Qingyun's attack speed didn't decrease. He continued to chase after the guardian. Following that, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and disappeared from the line of sight of the guardian's consciousness. Pucci. A moment later, when Mo Qingyun's figure appeared, he had already pierced through the guardian's chest with the immortal burning halberd. After piercing through the guardian's chest, Mo Qingyun's attack didn't stop. He continued to spin the immortal burning halberd quickly. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, the guardian's body was instantly defeated and slowly dissipated in the misty immortal abode. After killing the guardian, Mo Qingyun's footsteps didn't stop. He continued to move towards the third level's fifth level. After entering the third level's fifth level, Mo Qingyun didn't waste time talking nonsense with the guardian. He directly waved the immortal burning halberd and started to kill him. After fighting for about 15 minutes, Mo Qingyun overbearingly killed the mental projection guarding the fifth level of the third level. After killing the guardian, Mo Qingyun's footsteps didn't stop. He continued to move towards the next level. After a few more hours, Mo Qingyun finally arrived at the fourth level of the misty immortal abode under his unceasing slaughter. As soon as he entered the fourth level of the misty immortal abode, Mo Qingyun felt a terrifying aura suddenly shrouding towards him. This was the aura of an immortal core stage expert. Chapter 1245. Outside the ethereal immortal abode on the ranking board. First place, Ji Qiong, level 4, first stage, time taken, 2 hours. Second place, Mo Qingyun, level 3, 10th stage, time taken, 2 hours. Third place, Yuan Xie, level 3, 10th stage, time taken, 3 hours. Fourth place, Qian Guangxuan, level 3, 10th stage, time taken, 3.5 hours. Both Ji Qiong and Qian Guangxuan were surprised to see Mo Qingyun's ranking on the Ethereal Immortal Mansion's assessment ranking list. Mo Qingyun had actually passed the 10th stage of the third floor. Moreover, the time Mo Qingyun had used to pass the 10th stage was even shorter than Yuan Xie and Qian Guangxuan. It seemed that Mo Qingyun's real strength was above Yuan Xie and Qian Guangxuan's. Besides, according to Mo Qingyun's current trend, he was going to pass level 4. From level 4 onwards, the guarding level 4 will be at the Immortal Core stage. Can junior brother Mo pass it? Thinking that Mo Qingyun was going to fight with the Immortal Core stage's guardian, Qian Guangxuan showed an expectant expression and said, "Senior brother Ji, if junior brother Mo can defeat the Immortal Core stage's guardian when he's only at the 5th level of the Celestial Realm, then once he breaks through to the Immortal Fog stage, won't he be able to challenge the entire Celestial Realm? If junior brother Mo can defeat the guarding Immortal Core stage, once he breaks through to the Heaven Immortal stage, he will be invincible in the Heaven Immortal stage." Hearing Qian Guangxuan's words, Ji Qiong nodded solemnly and said, "Whether or not junior brother Mo can do that will depend on his next battle." After seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Yuan Xie and the others, who were not far away, had extremely gloomy expressions. Mo Qingyun had even surpassed Yuan Xie in the ranking of the Ethereal Immortal Abodes assessment. After all, Mo Qingyun was only ranked at the 23rd position during the Misty Immortal Abodes test last month, yet he directly charged to the 2nd position now. This kind of speed of improvement was a little too terrifying. He's ranked 2nd. Seeing Mo Qingyun's ranking, 100 Transformation Golden Peak and Yun Xing's expressions changed, and their eyes were filled with awe. They knew very well that if they met Mo Qingyun again, they probably wouldn't be as lucky as last time. Senior brother Yuan Xie, we can't let Mo Qingyun continue to grow. This is how he surpassed me back then. Looking at the situation before him, the Golden Mountain of 100 Transformations immediately felt a sense of familiarity. It was as if he had seen the scene when he was surpassed. Hearing this, Yuan Xie's face darkened even more. Killing intent radiated from him as he said, "The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. This Mo Qingyun is too flashy. Someone will definitely take care of him." I'll go ask the senior brother of the Western Immortal Palace to take action. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. After sealing the cultivation base of the Guardian's spiritual body, Mo Qingyun's hands didn't stop moving, and he directly waved the immortal burning halberd to cut him. A terrifying power of flames, like mountains and rivers, gushed out from the immortal burning halberd and turned into a fire dragon halberd light that blasted towards the Guardian's spiritual body. Immortal technique, Black Ice Shield. In the face of Mo Qingyun's halberd, the Guardian's spiritual body didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless and quickly made a hand seal. Immediately after, a terrifying chill gathered at an extremely fast speed, turning into a shield with a Tai Chi pattern in front of the guarding mental clone. Bang! The fire dragon halberd light blasted on the Black Ice Shield, and immediately a loud sound was heard, creating a terrifying spiritual power storm. Under the sweeping of this spiritual power storm, Mo Qingyun and the Guardian's spiritual body quickly retreated and used their hands to resist the erosion of this spiritual power storm. Under the full bombardment of Mo Qingyun and the Guardian, the spiritual power storm was dispersed, and Mo Qingyun and the Guardian's figures appeared. Immortal technique, Heavenly Thunder Soul Devouring. After the spiritual power storm was dispersed, the Guardian's spiritual body once again made a hand seal and pointed at the sky above Mo Qingyun. Immediately, dark clouds began to gather above Mo Qingyun, and there were flashes of rolling lightning arcs. Immortal technique again. Could it be that people in the immortal core stage begin to cultivate immortal technique? Seeing the Guardian's spiritual body once again use immortal technique, Mo Qingyun's face showed a surprised expression, and a bold guess arose in his heart. Chapter 1246. Thunder rumbled and lightning bolts surged. Under the layers of dark clouds above, Mo Qingyun's vision became blurry. Glancing at the dark clouds above, Mo Qingyun simply put away the immortal immolating battle halberd and prepared to use his body to resist the lightning strike. He could feel that the lightning power of the Guardian's immortal technique was not comparable to the lightning power of his tribulation. Since he could withstand the even more terrifying lightning might, how could he not be able to withstand the lightning might of the immortal art that was guarding the will body? Boom! Not long after Mo Qingyun put away the immortal immolating battle halberd, a lightning bolt as thick as an arm blasted down and directly struck Mo Qingyun. When the lightning bolt struck Mo Qingyun, it swallowed Mo Qingyun, making it impossible for others to see Mo Qingyun's situation. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, the Guardian's expression couldn't help but change. With a shocked expression, he said, "This kid actually withstood the immortal technique, soul-devouring heavenly lightning. I don't know if he can withstand it. If he can, I won't be able to stop him." As soon as the Guardian's voice fell, his expression became tense as he focused on Mo Qingyun's situation. A moment later, the dark clouds retreated and the lightning dissipated. Mo Qingyun's figure was revealed once again. Unharmed, seeing Mo Qingyun's current appearance, the Guardian's expression immediately changed. His face was instantly filled with shock. While the gatekeeper's mental projection was in shock, he saw Mo Qingyun's exposed arm. His expression changed again as he said, "His body is as strong as a middle-grade immortal artifact. It turns out his body strength has reached this level. No wonder he could resist the soul-devouring heavenly thunder." Seeing Mo Qingyun's physical strength, the Guardian's face was filled with shock. He was greatly shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance. Mo Qingyun didn't pay attention to the Guardian's shock. His figure moved, and he waved the immortal immolating battle halberd. "Since you've finished your attack, it's time for me to return the favor." Under Mo Qingyun's stab, the immortal immolating battle halberd blossomed with a dazzling golden light, enveloping Mo Qingyun and the halberd. Under the cover of this golden light, Mo Qingyun's figure disappeared, disappearing from the perception of the Guardian's will body. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, the Guardian's expression immediately changed and revealed a look of surprise. The longer he fought with Mo Qingyun, the more he realized how extraordinary Mo Qingyun was and how powerful his divine abilities were. Pucci, while the Guardian was still in a daze, Mo Qingyun held the immortal, immolating battle halberd and pierced it into his body domineeringly. After completely comprehending the third level of the God of War transformation, Mo Qingyun stood up and walked toward the third trial of the fourth level. The fourth level's third levels guarding mental avatar strength had reached the intermediate immortal core realm, which was much stronger than the previous two levels guarding mental avatars. After a fierce battle, Mo Qingyun finally defeated it with great difficulty and successfully passed the third trial of the fourth level. After entering the fourth trial of the fourth level, Mo Qingyun didn't pass it in the end because the Guardian's consciousness was too strong. Mo Qingyun didn't care too much about this. He didn't feel disappointed because of this. Mo Qingyun knew very well that with his current cultivation base, he would definitely be stopped at a certain stage if he were to enter the ethereal immortal abode. According to Mo Qingyun's deduction, if he wanted to pass the trial of the ethereal immortal palace, he would need to be at least in the golden immortal realm. He was only at the peak of the early stage of the fifth level of the sky human realm. No matter how powerful his trump cards were, his strength couldn't be compared to a golden immortal realm cultivator. This time, I passed a total of 11 trials and even advanced the God of War transformation to the third level. This trip was worth it. Looking at the rewards of this trial, Mo Qingyun smiled with satisfaction. He turned around and walked out of the ethereal immortal palace. As Mo Qingyun walked out of the misty immortal abode, the people standing outside the misty immortal abode were all dumbfounded. The third trial of the fourth level, Mo Qingyun actually passed the third trial of the fourth level with his cultivation level of the early stage of the fifth level of the sky human realm. This kind of combat strength was just too terrifying. If this was the case, once Mo Qingyun's cultivation level entered the heavenly immortal realm, how powerful would he be? Senior Brother G, we seem to have underestimated Junior Brother Mo's strength. Looking at Mo Qingyun's results, Qian Guangsuan looked shocked and sighed. You're a genius. Ji Qiong also sighed when he heard Qian Guangsuan's words. He nodded and sighed. It seems like I have to take back my words. With Senior Brother Mo's performance today, I can no longer compete with him. After a short while, a huge palace towering into the clouds stood before the three of them. This was the place where the inner disciples reported. Arriving in front of the huge palace, Missouri Qingyun and the other two did not stop and directly walked into the palace. Upon entering the huge palace, Missouri Qingyun saw many inner disciples handing in their missions in the main hall. It seemed that the palace also functioned as a chore hall other than a place for inner disciples to report. Standing in the middle of the palace, Ji Qiong looked around and found the place where the disciples reported. The disciples report there. Let's go there. Ji Qiong instructed Mo Qingyun and the other two and walked towards the place where the disciples reported. A new disciple was promoted to an inner disciple so soon. Seeing Ji Qiong walk up to him, the deacon in charge of disciple promotion looked at Ji Qiong with a surprised expression. As far as he knew, the time for a new disciple to be promoted to an inner disciple was usually half a year later. This time, it had only been 2 months, and a new disciple had already been promoted to an inner disciple. This was beyond his expectations. After a brief moment of surprise, the deacon no longer hesitated and began to exchange items, such as an identity token, for Ji Qiong. Soon, Ji Qiong received an identity token and a jade-shaped item from the deacon. Wang Haiyuan, number 6. Seeing the words on the jade-shaped item, Mo Qingyun and the other two knew what it was for. It should be the key to a mansion. Knowing the use of the jade-shaped item, Mo Qingyun and the other two did not stay any longer and walked out of the main hall. When Mo Qingyun and the other two walked out of the main hall, Yuan Xie walked over with a group of people with a sinister smile on his face. Seeing Yuan Xie's sudden appearance, Mo Qingyun and the other two's expressions immediately turned serious, and they became vigilant. Judging from the current situation, Yuan Xie and the others must have been waiting for them and did not come with good intentions. One of them is at the peak of the intermediate stage of a mortal core realm, and three are at the early stage of a mortal core realm. When Mo Qingyun saw the three people beside Yuan Xie, he immediately released his soul power and secretly sensed their cultivation levels. After knowing their cultivation levels, Mo Qingyun's expression became much more relaxed, and a faint smile appeared on his face. He muttered to himself, "Although it's a little troublesome to deal with them, it's not impossible to deal with them if I use my full strength." While Mo Qingyun was sizing up the three people, the peak intermediate immortal core realm cultivator stopped Jiqiong and said coldly, "You're called Jiqiong, right? I heard that you're very arrogant in the East Divine Palace. So what if I am?" Seeing the other party's question, Jiqiong frowned slightly and asked back, unwilling to be outdone.